Am I in focus? I just recorded an intro and I was out of focus, so I'm doing it again. Sauce the Boss is one of my favorite human beings. When I was thinking about people for this season 2 of Kanode Knows that I genuinely just want to talk to, Sauce is one of these dudes. I was excited to talk to him. We breezed through 2.5 hours easily, starting at Swamp Fest and talking about No Booze November. Thank you for joining me in solidarity, Sauce. His name's Austin Quick, or at least I think it is. I'm not really sure if that's his legal name or not, but that's what we're going to go with here. He is technically a filmmaker, not so much anymore, and he never made videos outside of BMX videos, but his impact on the BMX scene is substantial, and he doesn't know what he's doing with cameras, so it will provide no value to you as a filmmaker, but he is the man, and it was a really fun conversation. From Swamp Fest to real estate investing to telling stories about, stuff that we've done together in the past that we probably shouldn't tell stories about. So this is a fun one. Please enjoy, and thanks for tuning in.
I thought it was No Drink November.
Yeah, this is espresso.
Oh yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
It is. You're doing No Booze November?
Yeah.
At least it's tequila. That's what I'm talking about. If you're gonna drink, tequila's the move.
Now it's water, because it's in a cup.
Off the record. All right. Cool. So, like, what do you want to talk about, dude? I was looking at beers in the fridge. Like, I was like, I would love to just have a brewski and do this podcast.
Well, okay. I can tell you that I saved up a little bit because I didn't drink for 2 weeks prior to going to Swamp Fest, and I was like saving the juice. Like, I didn't drink a drop. Like, I don't even normally drink super regularly. It's just when I do, I drink a lot, so people tend to remember it.
Yeah.
And but I saved up. I made sure I didn't drink anything for like 2-3 weeks, whatever, before Swamp Fest. Get to Swamp Fest, don't want to drink at all. Like, just don't care at all, which is the weirdest place to not care.
Yeah, for real.
Everybody's hammered. And you know how sometimes you just get, like, you plan on going out, whatever, and then you get there and your stomach or whatever, it's just like, nah, not today.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay healthy around everybody, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly what I had. And it was just like I kept trying to force beers down, and I just didn't, my stomach just said I don't care.
And I would probably need to drink to be around all that, dude. Just looking at it on my phone, I was just like, it's not my scene, dude. I can't hang out in dirt all day. That's grimy and just watch people eat shit. What was your favorite part?
Denim had the most glorious fall
I've ever seen. The picture I saw
in my entire life.
What happened?
He started to pedal at the swamp rail. Insert clip here. Unless you don't do that, then don't insert that clip there. But insert it here because you should. But he's starting to pedal at this rail, and I think he's already hit it a couple times, so his shoes are wet, the platform's wet, everything's wet, and somebody got in his way, and like the nice guy he is, he's like, well, I could have either overpegged or I could have stopped, and I decided to stop, and just slips so slowly off a 10-foot drop, and stays on his bike, doesn't jump off or anything, keeps his hands on the bars, takes his foot off, breaks a 2x4 with his ball sack on the way down.
Oof.
And then still hands on the grips, face straight into the mud in true Denim Cox fashion. Don't even take your hands off. Just let your face hit the ground. It was the most glorious fall I've ever seen in my whole life.
That's pure denim.
Yeah,
denim, 100%. It shouldn't be called Swamp Fest. It's Denim Fest. He owns that place. What did he do last year or 2 years ago now, COVID, with the monster truck? I just remember him falling off. Did he fall off of a monster truck? Oh, yeah, into just a little puddle of mud.
Yeah.
He's a psycho, dude.
He's definitely in his element there. And it was Also the loop rail. He's looking at it the day before and just like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not even bringing my bike. Like, just so you guys can't make me do it.
Yeah.
And I'm always the one that's fucking poking him to do shit all the time.
Yeah.
And so of course I start poking him about it. And I'm like, dude, you have to do it. Like, you're the only one here capable and blah, 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 and all this shit. And he's like, no, 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 I wanna leave out of here walking. Last time I broke ribs, like I was fucked up. And I was like, that's perfect because I brought a chest protector in my carry-on. And
So
he
your
didn't
ribs are
know,
good.
he didn't fly with me, so he really didn't know if I was being serious or not. And he's like, you're the best worst friend ever. Just because like he didn't want to try it, but he's like also good looking out.
For real though. That's part of being like the filmer is you have to be the best worst friend ever. Like,
Yeah,
come on, you got this. Push it. Just jump down this 20 stairs. No big deal.
exactly. And then I fucking go, I'm like, Denim, just imagine this. Imagine this. There's 1,000, maybe 2,000 people surrounding this rail, and the music's bumping. You got Trey Jones and Steve Crandall screaming on a mic. Everybody's excited to see it, and nobody will go for it.
Yeah.
Nobody. And everybody just looks over at you. What are you gonna do? Are you just gonna let them down? Are you gonna let all these thousands of people down? I know you're not. It's not in you. So why don't we just get a freaking piece of plywood and we'll duct tape it to your abdomen, so when you fall from the top of it a couple times, you won't break any ribs. Maybe an ankle, maybe your teeth, but
Maybe some other limbs.
not your abdomen. And he's like, you're right, you're right.
I mean, it's a
And
pretty
then,
valid point.
sure enough, I kid you not, it comes to that obstacle, and there is there's a whole line of people, whatever, like same scenario I just described, thousands of people. And for the first like 3, 4, 5 minutes, nobody's even running up at it at all.
Yeah.
Just line of
Who
people,
would? It's insane.
nobody touching it. And I'm just staring at Den. I'm like, told you it's gonna happen. And then without me even trying, Steve Crandall is on this stage they built on the back of a Toyota Tacoma, standing
Beautiful.
next to the fucking rail, and they go, where the fuck is Denim Cox? I'm like, yes, I fucking knew this was gonna happen. And sure enough, finally some other guy, or Linwood, started.
Linwood broke the seal.
Yes, Linwood popped the cherry, and Denham was very relieved that he wasn't gonna have to do it to put on a show.
Yeah, imagine. Oh, dude, I wouldn't want that pressure. I wouldn't want it. I don't think that's ever been done or built. Like, has anybody done like even just a grind loop? Just a regular loop is crazy enough.
Did Mike Escamilla do one, or did he do a
He
rail?
did the rail to
backflip?
backflip. I don't think he
Okay.
did full roller coaster loop. Maybe. That's wild, man. How did
Not
so
that
like
I
you
know of.
mentioned like it's obstacle. So like once it came to this obstacle, it was like held like a big jam, like there was organization or what? Because it looks just like total chaos.
It is total chaos. You've never been?
Never. No.
It is total chaos, except for the day of, when they're actually like giving out money and shit. And then it just becomes like, yeah, all eyes on that one obstacle, whatever it is. And then you got a handful of people trying it,
Yeah.
and thousands watching and laughing and screaming.
What was your favorite not fall and not loop? Like, did you get to see the tranny boys ride around in the just watching Corey Walsh and Matt Cordova ride is kind of like magical.
Yeah. I did. They didn't really ride, that I saw, at least, because they had been there for like a month, or not a month, like a
Yeah,
week.
so they were like riding it before everybody got there, and then they were
Yeah,
just
they were
riding it.
there like a week ahead of time, so I think they had kind of gotten it out of their system.
Yeah, fast and loose. Hesh lords.
Yeah, they got in fast and they got loose, but they did play the same Slayer song for like 5 hours at their camp, the same one on repeat. So
Over and over again.
the same one, yeah.
That's weird.
So
Slayer's fine, but 5 hours of Slayer is not.
the same song.
Maybe they were just too drunk and they forgot it was on repeat.
Yeah, I don't know. They said this is just our song, so we're fucking with it. But out of the things that were made tricks, I didn't see a whole lot of made tricks. to be honest with you.
I didn't see anything except for the loop and then that little obstacle of the wood. I'm sure there was tons more, and it's crazy how much effort and how literally every BMX rider in the country made it there. You hit me up, like a week and a half ago, like, hey, let's go host some podcast show in the van. Did any of that work out? Did you do that?
Nah, it it was just it came down to like you weren't down and you have some resources as far as like mics and just fucking GoPros, whatever you have. And like Dig wasn't down. Like Ride is kind of too corny in my opinion to even be down or to grace them with that kind of content. No offense to those guys. I can't picture it on there. And then like I was trying to get Panza to do it because I could see it totally being a segment in one of his videos.
Yeah.
And everybody's had their own plans, own schedule, whatever. So it didn't really work out. And I wasn't really about to go buy a bunch of mics and fucking GoPros to make that happen.
Yeah.
So for no reason.
Especially if you want it like well produced, it's a lot that goes into it. And then the amount of editing, and it's just like, that's a whole project. That would be like, I would charge $10,000 to do something like that over the course of 3 days.
I was thinking about it logistically, and I was like, yeah, that's going to be a pain in the ass. So I'm down to film it. I don't want anything to do with it after we film it though.
For real. That's how I am with most of the stuff that I'm shooting lately. It's just like, we have a team of editors now, and it feels really good to just be like, okay, I shot this. Here's what you're going to do with this. Pew, pew, pew. Just pass it all off and then stay focused on like, dude, I'm a TV commercial filmmaker at this point.
I saw that.
I'm stoked. It's crazy. Actually, I need to put it in my Instagram bio. I'm a cinematographer. I put real estate investor in my bio, and I haven't done anything about that. I remember. So I don't know. I've already introed you, but this is.
No, we just started talking about Swamp Fest.
Austin, quick. No, I'm gonna do an intro after whatever.
Sure.
Unedited. So like this season is focused on videographers. Sauce, you came up. I don't know. Let's rewind the clocks to like it's literally 10 years ago, and I went out and I stayed with Adam 22 in Long Beach internship. What's our age difference? How old are you?
23.
So 8 years. So like you were literally like a 13, 14-year-old kid with the Common Crew. Also, is that when you linked up with Adam? Were you filming at that point? Like, let's talk about how you got into filming and then how you connected with the Come Up, because I remember that was like a big deal.
Started filming like basically just because like I was the fat kid and it took me like, I don't know, like 12 times longer to learn how to hop up a curb than all my friends or do a 180 or anything else. So I was like not the kind of guy who just wants to like sit around and like be there. Like I need a purpose or like a job of some kind.
Yep.
So I was like, well, if it's not doing tricks, then I better find something else. And I already kind of like was interested in filming, and YouTube was kind of like coming up at that time, like 2009 or 2009-ish area. And
it's weird to think about that time. Like YouTube wasn't as big as it is. Vimeo is where most BMX videos went at that time.
And
that's so crazy.
And I used to think, fuck, like, oh, Vimeo's so sick. Like,
yeah, but it is. It's still, I think it's still sick for like film bros, very cinematic stuff. They have like, I don't know. I actually don't know, but I still have a dope Vimeo channel with all the BMX videos from 10 years ago.
If you ask a kid though, they'd be like, "No, what is Vimeo? That's lame."
Yeah, exactly. How many subscribers do you have? And I'm like, I don't think they do subscribers on Vimeo.
It doesn't have the same like algorithm or whatever you want to call it to where it could actually like be seen by a large group of people without your constant push of like sending people there, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And that's a good point about like being the fat kid that couldn't do any tricks. Like you have to carry your weight. Like that in the BMX world, like you all go out as a squad of homies and like you like it's kind of an unsaid rule, but like you have to provide some sort of value, whether like you're the entertainment, like you're just an obnoxious fun guy. That's one role. If you can be the filmer, you can be the photographer. If you can't do it, like I'm boring personality wise, and then I wound up just kind of I remember I got hurt my tailbone, and I was like, I still want to go out, but I want to provide value or whatever, and started filming. And that's my story. So very similar to just like there has to be somebody to point the camera at the homies doing tricks. What were you filming on when you first started? Did you go authentic VX1000 right off the bat? I feel like that's
No, and
you. Or
also,
TRV.
also you're not a boring personality guy. Just like point that out. But um, I started out on like a little fucking Big Lots camera that took like AA batteries that I got
Beautiful.
for Christmas or my birthday or something in like 2008, and
Was it HD?
it was like Motorola phone HD.
So then how do you edit that? What did you do with that footage? Like, does it go to a memory card or a tape or what?
It went to a memory card, and I did not know how to edit yet, so I would literally just post clips on YouTube. But for that reason, because I was lacking in the creativity department or whatever you want to call it, I didn't know how to edit yet. I was like, oh, I got to make this up somewhere else. So I got really good at like titling things and doing all the tags and like making sure I had a very full description with more tags and keywords and all this stuff.
Yep.
So if you look back on channel called Moto Kids 172 was the first one. That has like the very, very, very beginning of anything Common Crew-ish related. And some of those just shitty clips that look like they're on a Motorola phone actually have like hundreds of thousands of views.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works. I look back on the old clips that were like filmed on a Nokia phone of me doing a random backwards manual in 2007, and it's got like 75,000 views. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
just BMX backwards manual free coaster, and hit the keywords, baby. Were you
Yeah.
doing like WordPress back then too? Like I think we're talking about a period of time way before you linked up with Adam and started blogging for him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So after this crappy AA battery, what happens next?
at some point, I just realized that sucked, and like I kind of figured out how to edit on what is that? Windows Movie Maker, I
Yep.
think was the first one.
Yep.
And I would just put the clips together, and then I didn't know anybody that actually knew how to edit. So the idea that I would actually like flow them together and take the time to actually do that, I thought was like outrageous, like ludicrous. I was like, there's no way these guys in these videos actually take the time to flow this together. That would be like ridiculous. So I would just play like fucking 100 like Akon songs behind it until one of them went okay, and I just drag and drop, export, throw it on there. And
There's
then
nothing wrong with that. I think that's how Rich Hirsch did Marsh So Freestyle, if I'm not mistaken. I heard him talking about it, and he just put out the timeline and then just dropped in a song, and then that's how it worked. And sometimes it creates magic, you know.
it does, because
Yeah.
even though I didn't know how to edit, I wasn't lazy about that part. Like I would literally go through like hundreds of songs until one of them just hit right. So
Nice.
I still wasn't just like picking a random song and throwing it in there. But yeah, and then after that, I just realized I needed a fisheye, and that camera like couldn't take a fisheye. So I just got some little soda can piece of shit off of Craigslist, and it had like the little 37 millimeter Optica lens, like
Yeah.
they call it a baby death or whatever,
Yep.
and ran that for a couple of years. Some of the earliest clips in Monster Mash are filmed with that little camera.
Dang.
And
So I was gonna ask, who were you filming with this original setup? I can't, like, the group of kids that you grew up riding with have gone on to be, BMX superstars at this point. I would consider like most of them, like
some of them.
some of them, uh,
What?
Julian, he's Common Crew.
Oh yeah.
Give me, I mean, I kind of know the list, but like Alec,
Yeah.
and then Justin.
Justin,
Who?
Jacob, Denham, uh,
It's crazy.
Devin came in a little later, Travis Hughes, like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them, but if you start from back then, it's really not that many of them because crews are obviously much larger when you're younger and then people fade out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, a lot of them went on to be really successful. So back then, that time frame, probably of the people that are still riding now, it would be like Jacob, Julian, Ethan, uh, Francis, and then there's some other people that you'd probably know, but have kind of like quit riding since. But I would say those are like some of the main ones that I can think of. But
Those are
there's
my best memories of just like the first couple of years of like figuring everything out and pointing the camera and tripod and riding a curb, or just like hanging out with like your just legitimate friends and going and having fun and trying to progress and being young and stupid and willing to get hurt to learn new tricks. Because
oh,
I'm not willing to do that anymore.
and just fucking off. I
Yeah,
mean, we spent
exactly.
half of our time just like jumping 1080 ramps into bushes and shit. So
Yeah, so good.
it
And that makes,
wasn't like
and
training.
and I don't know, I say that that's more productive than like, other teenagers just going to the mall to talk shit and hang out and waste time.
Oh yeah,
And it like teaches you a skill that you wound up making money from, which is awesome.
it
Did
teaches you a. I think it's a very good teacher.
Yeah,
Not only like the repetition of trying something and then finally getting it, but also just like the life skills of like having to deal with security or having to deal with, the parent that's yelling at you or whoever it might be, or manipulating your parents so that you can go to LA an hour away when you're 13 years old with
yep,
some guy who just got his license a month ago.
yep.
And just, I mean, there's a lot of good skills you can pick up that I don't think people realize.
100%. What my girlfriend's always like, why are you so comfortable with like breaking rules? And I was just like, I think because of the years of trespassing and dealing with security guards.
Yeah.
She was super nervous about sneaking me into this resort where she teaches a yoga class on Saturday mornings. I'm like, I'll just act like I belong there. It's okay. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
You just play dumb. Just
yeah,
when in doubt, play dumb.
exactly. No, I'm just here to help her out. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Play dumb and be polite and don't escalate. We actually were out riding the other night, and then first security guard that kicked us out of a spot was polite and dope and nice, and was just like, "Hey guys, you know the drill." And we're like, "Yep, I understand. Okay, thank you. Have a good night." And the second guy at a different spot came out, and he just like at 100 already, just screaming at the top of his lungs, and it's just like, you need to. I literally said to him, I was like, "I think you should change your approach next time."
Just start critiquing his security guard skills.
Yeah, your people skills are lacking. Maybe that's why you're working a security job in
Well,
downtown Phoenix at a shitty building.
nobody could teach a security guard training course better than skaters and BMX riders, I think.
For real.
It's like, hey, if you want to be effective as somebody who gets kicked out by security every single day, I can tell you these are some ways you could help yourself out.
We got a new course that we're going to sell online to security guards. Start marketing it. You see ads pop up. Do you want to be the best security guard? Click the
No,
link below.
no, that's a problem. None of them would care enough to
Not at
actually
all, nor be able
get
to afford a
better.
course.
Right, right. They have to sell the hubcaps off of their fucking Camry to get in there. And by that, I'm not making a joke about poor people. I'm just saying the security guard in the classic, Camry on campus or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But as
Uh,
far as WordPress goes, and just to finish that question off,
yeah.
and getting with Adam and all those guys, I didn't know the first fucking thing about WordPress until I started working with the Come Up.
Yep. They
And
taught me it too when I was interning.
yeah, I didn't know a goddamn thing about it. And the way I ran into them was just like, I feel like I've told this story a bunch of times, but basically, like my cousin had a baseball game in Norco, which is about an hour away from where we all live. And I was like, oh yeah, mom, I totally want to go to my cousin's baseball game. Can I bring Ethan and Denham and everybody else? We'll bring our bikes too, of course. Long story short, never even saw the baseball field, let alone my cousin himself. We were at this school, Norco High School. It's got actually has a ton of spots. We've gone back to it many times since then, but we were just riding around, and it just so happened that I see Denham's trying some rail or whatever, and then Sean Moore comes around the corner, and I don't know who Sean Moore is at this time, but I mean, he seemed pretty legit.
Yeah,
Like just watching him, he like iced the rail like no problem, and
he knows what he's doing.
or like, oh, he's good. Let's follow him. So, not right behind him or anything, but we kind of like watched where he went, and he went back into the other part of the school. Follow him in there, and we see like Mastroni, Biz, Jason Inns, uh, fucking Adam. I don't remember who else. Sean, Alex Platt, maybe, and like the OG like OSS guys.
Yeah. The
And
was it OSS at that time, or are they filming a come up DVD, or like it's
I
so
don't.
weird. It's all blurred together. I hear you though. Keep going.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Mastroni was filming some stolen bikes video for Sean Moore at the time, and then
Stolen.
there was probably some clip like Kareem had a. Oh, was Kareem there? I don't know. Whatever. Who knows what they're filming
Yeah.
for?
So you met
But
Adam.
yeah, I mean, I think Ethan filmed a line where he did like an ice on this flat rail, and then he like cranked down this other rail, and little kid doing crank arms was not common in
Yeah.
2011 or whenever this was.
Yeah.
And Ethan had not gone through puberty yet or anything, so he's just like yanking his bike, like looks like he has no skill, but he does. And
No wonder he can crank arm anything. He's been doing crank arms since before puberty. That makes a
yeah,
lot of sense.
yeah. So Adam just fucking like saw us over there in the side of the school, came over, like gave some stickers, whatever. I think for some reason he like set up maybe I don't remember exactly how it went down, but he like gave me his number and he said like, "Oh, let's film a video with your crew or something like that." And then if you look, I don't know what channel it's on. I think it's on the Common channel. There's a video from 2012-ish or something where we went on like a OSS X Common Crew street ride thing,
Nice.
and basically we just went after school one day to Long Beach, and Mastroni filmed us do a bunch of shit, and then yeah, from there I don't know. He just said I don't remember how, but I ended up fucking blogging on
That's
the
pretty
come up,
cool. Yeah.
and it was a cool thing to say as a fucking 13-year-old that
13
you
year old.
had your
Yeah.
own
I remember it. I was
article.
like, who is this Sauce the Boss? Just the name alone is like the confidence from this young buck is amazing. Out of the roof.
It was pretty cool to be able to say that you had that article, and it definitely still it got me a lot of a name recognition at the very least.
Yeah. And then you became like a BMX personality, I'd say. I think most people in BMX know who Sauce the Boss is at this point, which is pretty cool. It's a weird, like big community worldwide where like over the internet and over all these years, like we all kind of know each other. It feels like long lost friends at like the premiere, for example, that happened, Angles premiere, just seeing everybody and like remembering that I know all these people. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I love everybody here.
Dude, I love that, especially when you talk to somebody who doesn't ride or anything, and like for instance, you're driving through some random part of the country or something, and you're just like, they're like, "Oh, should we get a hotel?" You're like, "Oh, no, like my homie lives here, like we
Yeah,
got it,"
exactly.
or whatever. They're like, "How do you know this person?" It's like I couldn't tell you.
Bikes.
We just know each other. Like,
Yeah, it's so good.
yeah.
So I don't know, was film like because I consider you a videographer. You made your fair share. Like what was the like what's your most proud project? Like if you look at all the videos you made, how many do you think you've made, first of all? And then what is your favorite or the one you're most proud of?
How many? I mean, if you count all the old ass shit, there's probably like a couple hundred. But if you count like the stuff since maybe like that the come up point where I became like an actual person,
Hmm.
um,
An
uh,
actual person.
probably like 40 or 50, I'd say.
Yeah.
But out of all of them, I think the best one, in my opinion, is the 2019 Common Crew Barcelona video,
Yeah,
which
that was good.
also happens to be like one of the last ones I'm like proud of at least that I filmed. And I don't know, like I like doing the crew ones like that because I have a lot more creative control over it rather than like if I film something for Julian and he's like, oh let's use
Let's
the
use this song. Right.
use the white stripes or or something, and there's no problem with that, they still come out good. But obviously I like what I like, and I like fucking strip club music
Yep.
uh, to bike riding.
What's that? Juicy J? That's I remember you abused Juicy J in a lot of videos, right?
I have abused Juicy J and Gucci Mane and
Yep.
like E40 and just shit like that.
Strip club music, man. That was a good era. Do you think there's any like what's the modern day version of that? It's kind of evolved into this weird, different world of hip hop. Are you
I
still like in that? Do
I'm
you
not
pay
like a
attention?
super nerd. Not like a super nerd with it anymore, but out of the new guys, OGZ
Yeah, you
from
told me about that in text. I pulled it up, showed the hip hop friend that I was with. He's like, okay, okay,
yeah, so like OGZ from Shoreline Mafia, he's the sound of LA right now. Fuck LA, but I'm close by.
yeah.
Um, so I like him. He sounds new but old simultaneously, and he's a Mexican gangster from Hollywood. So it's just a weird
Legitimate
dynamic.
gangster.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's real. That's the craziest thing. Is just like that those worlds and being a real gangster is kind of it's scary to be around. I don't know if I've ever been around like Gabe Brooks was easily the scariest person I've been around. Even though like we were friends, like I just know like his presence was just like, oh my god. I pointed the camera at him when I was staying at the apartment in Long Beach 10 years ago, and then he turned around and like jokingly just went like this to the camera, and I was just like,
didn't you feel so safe when he was around though,
yes, 100%. That's
bro?
he takes care of you, in the
Yeah,
streets. And
dude.
then we worked on a line together. Like he was trying something fairly simple, but like the beginning of it was a bunny hop bar spin, and he was struggling a lot with it. And I was just like, how I always am with filming, I'm just very patient and encouraging. Like you could do it for 150 tries, it doesn't bother me. And that he noticed that, and then we had a little bond after that. Rest in peace, Gabe. That's such a bummer that that shit happened.
Rest in peace to Gabe motherfucking Brooks. He's a G. I have a clip, or I don't. Francis has a clip somewhere on one of his hard drives of him doing a tail whip on a scooter off a curb in celebration for like Jacob landing a line or something one day.
Yes. He's just like a little goofball, but also the hardest dude that I had ever hung around.
Dude, I not the pause before I even say this, but like the photos of him with his shirt off with like just fucking like the G tattoo on it.
Yep.
I'm just like, you are the hardest motherfucker alive. I
Yeah,
swear to God.
100%. He would show up to the apartment. I don't know how old he was at this point. Like he's older than us, but like maybe my age when I was there. Maybe he was 30 or something. I don't know. But like he would come up at 7 a.m. He's already been up at since like 5:30 doing like calisthenic workouts and stuff. And it's just like this dude was on one. He was living hard. That was
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that I remember from staying at Adams was I was a sleeper. I'm like 18 or I'm 20 and I'm still just like lazy. I sleep in, and then Adam, Kanode, will you wake the hell up? I'm like, yeah, all right. Okay, that's yeah. So that's I don't know. That's the origins. And then did you switch? Is that how you got into this real estate game? And I want to talk about the journey to where you are now and doing deals and learning from Mark and all that. But like, that's how you connected with Mark. Like, were you realizing that there's no money in BMX videos and then thinking, okay, what am I gonna do? You've always traded cars. Like, at what was your income, before becoming a real estate investor? Like, did you make money from videos outside of BMX?
Oh fuck no, 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 no. I knew even when I was really young, I knew there was no money in it. Just not because anybody explicitly told me like, "Hey, there's no money in this," but I've always known about cars. So in a weird way, that helped me because
Yeah.
I saw what all of the pro riders were driving, and it just told me all I needed to know.
Yep.
And I was just like, "Yeah, there's no money in this."
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna like hold my breath. If I make some money here and there, that's sick, but I'm definitely not gonna try to make it my predominant like source of income. So I mean, yeah, I never relied on it. I always had money from just doing it, like flipping the cars and motorcycles and shit like
That's
that.
so
And then
dope.
if I had, a video I could sell for 500 or 600 bucks or whatever, it was just like a bonus.
What about like a regular job? Did you ever have a regular job?
Oh fuck no.
Really? You just been straight flipping cars? When when did you first start making money? When you were
Uh,
13 blogging?
yeah, they pay me like $100 a month or like two. I don't know.
Yeah, just taking
Like
advantage
nothing.
of you. But
Yeah. Like, but I wouldn't even care if they paid me nothing. Like that
yeah,
wasn't really why I was doing
doing
it.
it for the experience.
Yeah. And that has carried through. Like working for free has done so much for me over the years, and that included. But how did that, I mean, I've had my own money since I was like in middle school, like 12, 13, 14 years old, just from flipping bikes or parts or whatever. And like I don't have any shame either, as far as like I'll flip a house right now, but if somebody gave me the opportunity to buy $1,000 worth of bike parts for 250, I'll put it on my fucking Instagram story and sell that shit tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like there's no shame in my game
Yeah.
at all.
You are the
So
perfect, you've been bred to become a super successful real estate investor, which
yeah.
leads me to, like, we had a conversation, I don't know, probably over a year and a half ago. You were like, I think I'm doing this. And I was like, I'm thinking about doing it too. And the difference was you were actually doing it. So like, let's, pivot. You technically are a filmmaker. So welcome to season 2 of the podcast. But I think the more interesting thing is the real estate investing. Cause I think most people in BMX know, they follow you and they see you're like going different routes. And first of all, what reactions are you getting from, are you getting any hate like from, I don't know, BMXers tend to be haters. I'm just like, oh, he's doing something different. I can't imagine what
No,
type of
not
dude would
really.
say
I
that
mean,
to
I
you.
think I prepped them pretty well throughout the years. Anybody that's followed me or knows me as
Yeah.
to
It's
who
just
I
like,
am.
yeah, you are flipping.
So it wasn't really like a surprise for a lot of people, I don't think, but really good reaction. Like a lot of people, even at Swamp Fest last weekend, that's the only reason they were coming up to me, was like, and I don't even put that much shit out about
Yeah.
it really, but they'd be like, bro, thanks for that video. I've been trying to do this or trying to do that, or I'm trying to get my foot in the door, or, can you give me a tip or whatever? I probably had
Mm-hmm.
at least like a dozen people come up to me on some shit like that. And then even cooler, and I don't want to go into deep details about this, but at Swamp Fest last weekend, one of the last outcomes I ever would have imagined from Swamp Fest. But I'm walking to, and it's so crazy that this intertwined, but I'm walking to, um, I'm walking to like a long jump at night into a puddle, like
Yeah.
into
What a
a pit
mess.
of mud.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as stoked as the next guy to watch people jump as far as they can into a pit of mud.
Yeah.
And I walk
Does
through
anybody
somebody.
ride away from that, by the way? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's
somebody did
so
a
nuts.
somebody
Eh,
did a backflip and landed it in the puddle. But I'm
Go
walking
on.
through
Yeah.
somebody's camp, and they just like I'm not gonna talk about who, but like a certain bike company owner, and walking through the camp and goes, Sauce, what's up? And I never met this guy before. And I turn around, I'm like, oh, what's up, man? Blah, blah, blah. Good to meet you. And ended up, me and him skipped the fucking long jump thing altogether. And I just end up sitting in his camp, me and him solo, talking about fucking interest rates and how the market might drop or go up or whatever.
Yes.
And, now I have a FaceTime with him on Monday about how we might end up working together on some deals, as him as maybe like a money partner and stuff like that.
Sick.
So it was one of the last outcomes I expected from fucking Swamp Fest,
Yeah.
but it was
That's
great.
amazing.
And it
That's
was
a
funny too, because all the homies, I finally like show back up at camp like 3 hours later after just like shooting the breeze for that whole time. And they're like, where were you, bro? You missed it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, guys, I didn't miss a damn thing.
yeah.
I'm psyched on the conversation I just had. So that
Damn,
worked
you have
out
to tell
cool.
me who it is after. I'm so curious. I have a guess because it's in Florida, but you never know. That's
Yeah.
very cool. That might make the whole trip, like, what, I don't know, the cost of travel flying to Swamp Fest, probably not that much. And then where'd you stay? Did you stay in a hotel or?
No, I just rented a minivan and then we went to Walmart the night before and just like
Got some tents.
balled out, got everything we needed. You
Yep.
know, I got an air mattress, just fucking hit the back of the van.
Yep.
Everybody else got tents or whatever they needed.
What do you mean
And
hit the back of the van? Did you
like I
blow
just,
it up with the exhaust pipe?
no, I put all the seats down in the van and
Yeah,
then
boom.
I
Perfect.
knocked out back there.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I love that. I can't
But
remember
what was
last
the
time I
original
slept in my
question?
car. So yeah, we're going on about the journey of real estate investing and like how people in the BMX world are reacting to it. It's good to hear that they're all being positive about it. Like,
No, yeah, it's only been good. I mean, except for the occasional just like, you know, capitalism hating like crazy
yeah,
fucker or whatever, you know, you'll
the
get.
cult
But
members.
yeah, but other than that, you know, that's like 1 in 100.
Yeah, it is
So
a like very vocal minority. This cult of, I don't know. I don't want to get into politics, but there's a weird push towards, you know, I hope I
there's a
hope
weird
I hope
push towards a bunch of shit that doesn't work.
yeah,
But
communism and socialism and capitalism is evil and
yeah,
yeah, that's we'll save that for another day.
I could go on for 6 hours about that. So let's
Yeah,
not get into
maybe
that.
we'll do it as a private podcast. We can,
Me and
uh,
Augie were talking about doing a podcast where we just argued for like
beautiful.
3 hours about shit like that
Yeah,
because he's a
is he on
communist
the other
bastard
side?
from New
Yeah.
York. And like me and him can just go back and forth for hours anyways, but
Yeah.
then like just be like, oh, you want to go to dinner? Like right after and just be
Yes,
homie.
that's dope.
So that's how I like it.
Yes,
Like we can both disagree and still be friends. That's what nobody fucking
exactly.
gets.
And that's huge. And other people are like, I disagree with him. I hate him forever. I don't want to talk to him. Like, cancel
Yeah.
that man.
Like
Cancel that dude.
I think your opinion is stupid as fuck, but like you're still the homie.
Yeah,
Like I
exactly.
don't care. But
And
anyways, we won't go past that.
yeah, real estate investing. I know you got the one deal you called and told me. Dude, I don't know if you share numbers, but it's exciting, man. Like you grinded for, let me see if I get it right, 4 or 5 months of just every day 9 to 5 cold calling people from a list that Mark helped you get. And then you didn't know what you were saying at first. You were just like, hey, you want to sell a house? And then over practice and overcoming objections. And then all of a sudden you get lucky and you find a distressed property owner. And then did you like wholesale? Did you like sell the contract or did you like partner with Mark and then you guys flipped it and you split the profit? Is
No,
that right?
that is pretty spot on. Yeah. But other than the fact of the 9 to 5, it was more like 9 to 10.
That's so
It,
crazy. Like how
it
many
was
calls a
gnarly.
day?
How many calls?
Yeah.
Thousands.
Like are you tracking it? You write down, you're checking it off the list and then you're like, okay, this one's interested, maybe. Like you can do a full day and then just nothing comes from that. And then you just
Yeah.
keep going. Cause there's like thousands of people, maybe hundreds of thousands of people trying to do that just in California alone. Arizona is like one of the craziest markets for it right now.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. You did the thing that all the gurus say is just like imperfect action is better than just thinking about it and trying to learn everything and perfect it before you get into it.
Yeah. I
And
probably could have done it a little sooner too had I accepted that because
yeah,
I am a perfectionist in some ways, not in everything, but especially speaking and not sounding like a dumbass.
yep.
Like the thought of that like really grinds my gears. So
Let me hear your phone voice, dude. Cold call me.
I have a very like
Hello.
kind of like joking around tone with people.
That's good. Disarming.
So
No, seriously, let's role play.
okay. So it I'm a little rusty. I haven't cold called in quite a
No, that's
while.
fine.
Just FYI.
Hello.
Hey Bobby, how's it going, man? This is Austin. I was calling about a property I believe you own over on 123 Dipwad Street. Do
Yeah.
I have the wrong number?
No, that's me. I own that.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Hey, I was just calling because, you know, we just bought a house down the street. I don't know if you've seen it over on Stanley around the corner, but we're doing a remodel on it. And I was just curious, do you have any interest in maybe selling your property, you know, either now or sometime in the near future?
Yeah, I was talking actually to a real estate agent. I'm considering, putting it on the market, but it is in bad shape. So I don't know if that's going to work out.
I mean, we could go on and on. I'm not going to do the whole call, but
Yeah,
like,
that was good. That's good voice.
so
And that's such a good line that literally everybody uses. I just remodeled maybe not everybody, but the good ones. Like Pace teaches that line of just like, we just remodeled a house. Me and my partners just remodeled a house around the corner, just calling to see if anybody's interested. And it, I want to do it just to like joke around about it. We were at a mastermind and I'm filming the mastermind. And then Pace was like, why don't you do a cold call, Bobby? And then I did it. And I felt so excited. Just like my heart's pumping. This is just talking to a stranger who's like a warm lead too. So I just like made conversation with him and he's like, turned into a friend. And then it came time to like actually do the close. And I was just like, hold on, let me pass you on to my partner. He knows a little bit more about this, and then pass the phone away and it worked out. And
yeah,
it's like thrilling. It's very fun, but I don't have I want to do it, but not badly enough to actually take the steps and do it. I think it's got to be in my future, but for now,
you have
I like
more
what I'm doing.
resources than
Literally, yeah.
any human being on the
Yeah.
planet.
I'm
Of
around
people,
it, and
of people that genuinely probably want to help you and
yeah.
wouldn't charge you anything,
Yep.
and they're the best.
Yep.
And
Including you. You could help.
I could help you on a lower level because it's a little fresher in my brain of getting started, maybe.
Yeah.
But in terms of knowing exactly when to say it every point, I'm still not that guy. But Pace is honestly like, of all people, obviously Mark helped me a ton and everything. But if I'm gonna listen to a podcast or I'm gonna listen to something,
It's Pace,
I'm listening
dude.
to Pace.
Yeah.
Like
He's
for sure.
unlike any other, because like I met Pace. I started doing vlogs for a fix and flipper in Chandler when I left my old job, and I was starting my Kanode video company. I'd play it down. I killed it. I made 80,000 in my first year doing freelance video, and I was doing vlogs for this guy Templeton, and then somehow paths cross, and then I run into Pace, and he is so intense. And at first I was just like, I don't know about this guy. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm down. Like, let's film something. But he's like, I want this. We're gonna do this, and it's gonna be the. And he like is already entering my brain. He's like, in a year, you're gonna run this studio, and you're gonna do this. And he's like, always just giving and thinking about other people, and that makes him very attractive to like you want to learn from. And so I go into it with like skepticism. I'm like, okay, every person who's at that level has something like seriously wrong with them. The previous guy I worked for was a full-blown like textbook sociopath, and
Oh yeah.
like
Common.
had very like hated everybody, but put on this face and was like successful in real estate. And Pace, I was just like waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it's just pure giving, pure, like never heard a negative thing out of his mouth. Like his motivation is just like in his body. His dad was a contractor, taught him hard work, and then he gets his confession is he gets high off of giving people stuff. So like that makes him feel good. And then even better on top of that is he's like pushing his students to like not thank him, just go pay it forward and become mentors yourselves. And then that's created the sickest community I've ever seen with the sub 2. We're having another mastermind coming up December. You're in sub 2, right? Have you been marketed to for the upcoming mastermind?
Dude, I see your "Are you eating shit in your real estate business" fucking ad every single day at Venice Skate Park.
Yep. That skater kid comments on it too. He's like, I didn't give you permission. Take it down. I'm like, oops, public place. I don't know, man. I guess I could blur his face out, but
it's just so like funny. Pace. I think the difference is like 90% of those guys, it seems like they go after the low-hanging fruit, which is the people that are like brand new, and they're like, what's an assignment contract? Or like they're just doing all base level shit, or like, how do you find the ARV?
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I seen this same video 10 times today on my Instagram feed. Fuck you. And then Pace will be like, how do you talk to a divorce attorney about building a relationship and like getting them to send you deals, and like just much deeper level shit, which I feel like is lacking. And I've been telling Mark that same thing, which is like, go after the guys like me who are like starving for that little bit deeper info, not just all the base level shit. And that's why I really like listening to Pace. And he's just very well spoken, and he's the kind of guy where like I feel like I could put him in the middle of like a call that's going terribly, and you could have 110% confidence
Yep.
that like he's gonna pull it back and reel it in and make it work. It's like getting
seen it.
in. It's like if I got in a fucking Toyota 4Runner with 300,000 miles on it, and I was like, I have to drive to New York. It's like, oh, this thing's got it, you know? Like you don't even question it. It's a fucking Toyota, you know? He's the Toyota.
Yeah.
He's reliable.
Pace is a Toyota.
He is.
I've seen it in person because Sub 2 or Subject 2 is such a complicated thing, especially to try to explain that to a like skeptical seller. That's like, even I'm like, okay, so what's the catch? And there is like some catch, but he's fully transparent and very calming, and it is a win-win situation. And that's like one of my other things that I love about working for him is just like, we're not, there's, because it's not a zero sum game. Like it is you're providing a solution for a seller, and you're like giving them money to help travel to go see their family or whatever the problem is, and then you're also getting a property for, you know, zero money out of your pocket, zero credit, all that, and then you get cash flow. And that's, you know, I can't see a future where I'm just keep trading videos for dollars. I love what I'm doing right now, and I don't intend to stop anytime soon, but you got to figure out some sort of passive income thing so you can retire.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, are you there yet? Do you have any rentals, or are you just still doing the like fix and flip and get rid of them?
I'm just stacking right now because I'm kind of hesitant, honestly, about buying residential shit, like especially after the last couple of years of seeing the COVID, and then you got California putting all these restrictions on it, and then there's like, you know, nationwide restrictions and stuff on like evictions, and just I'm just a little uneasy about it. So I've been talking to a lot of guys who do commercial, and whether it be like triple net, like you own a
I've heard of that. I don't know.
you own like a shopping center, or, you know, storage, or
explain triple net real quick, because that's an interesting term and I've learned it before, but I forget.
So triple net, just as simply as you can put it, is basically like you own the land. Well, you own everything. You own the buildings and the land, but the tenants tend to sign longer leases, and they're responsible for the upkeep. Unless it's something like super major, you know, sometimes you might be responsible for like the roof, or you might be responsible for, you know, a paint job every 20 years or something, or the parking lot every 30 years or something. But so you're responsible for all these really big things, but all the little day-to-day shit, like calling you because their toilet's clogged or something, like that's not on you. You don't have to deal with it. And it's just, I don't know.
They're paying rent to you, which covers your mortgage and then some.
Of course.
Is it a mortgage on the land? Like commercial is kind of just like, I've never even learned anything about it.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. I mean, as far as like, you know, you get a loan, they pay you more than what you have to pay for the loan, and you make the difference. So it's like the same thing, just in my eyes, a little less bullshit to deal with. And, you know, depends how you look at it, but in my opinion, a little safer. So like RV storage, you know, normal storage, triple net. Just
how do you find those deals? Are you just like networking with people who know? I think that's the method, is just networking and getting referrals. But do you cold call commercial business owners? Like I don't.
You could. I mean,
have you done a commercial deal yet?
No, I haven't. That's just what I'm eyeing up. I mean, if I wanted to get single family or like, you know, small multifamily and shit, I would have already done it.
Yeah.
But I'm just, like I said, I'm not really into it on the holding side. So I'm just trying to kind of figure out that landscape there. And, you know, maybe, who knows, maybe the bike company owner that I told you about at Swamp Fest, maybe he'll help me make it happen with, you know, a little extra change behind me. But
is it scary using large amounts of money of other people's money? It's got to be scary.
I don't think it's scary. I've been doing it forever. Like even when I was really young, buying cars and shit, I would oftentimes use my dad's money.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I got a sweet.
You've been bred for this. This is you've been ready for this your whole life.
Yeah, I mean, I would use his money as like the same process. I'd be like, Dad, look at this thing. You know, it's on Craigslist. It was posted fucking 3 minutes ago. You know, they want $7,000 for this truck. And you know as well as I do that like we can put some wheels on this and lower it, and it'll sell for fucking 14.
Yeah.
So, and he'd be like, yeah, I
Valid
agree.
point.
Here's 7 grand, go get it, or
Nice.
whatever.
I love that.
So no, I mean, anything that I've ever done where I've borrowed any money, I was really confident in it. So I wouldn't I wouldn't do it on something that I thought was too big of a risk, you know.
Yeah.
Like if it was too big of a risk, I would have the decency to say like, either this isn't the right one, or if I had the money to do it, I'll do it with my own money, or I'll do it with the bank's money.
Yep.
And if I fail, it's on me. It doesn't affect anybody
Have you
else.
done that? Have you done it? So like, just tell me the deals. I think, I don't know, maybe somebody's listening to this and they're like working at Subway and they're like, how no skills, but like there's this world of wholesaling real estate and you jumped into it a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And if you don't mind sharing, how much money did you make on your first deal? How many deals have you done since? Like, what's it like? Did it change your life? Are you like, what's your?
Oh, it's definitely changed my life. The first one was like a little, just shy of like 75 grand, and Mark
One
paid
deal,
for,
one deal.
yeah, 75 grand, and Mark paid for the marketing. I did all the legwork. We split it, so I got like 32 grand or something, and that
In
was,
like one sum, so you can see like your bank account deposit
oh
32
yeah,
grand.
oh yeah, it was like mind blowing
Yeah.
because until then, I'd flip a car or whatever, and maybe I make like, anywhere from 2 to like 8 grand was like the space I was in.
Yeah.
So, but I'm living off of that too.
Yep.
And I'm going on trips and I'm doing whatever. So it wasn't like really ever building. I have like 5 to 10 grand in my account at any time,
Yeah.
or like in my safe in my room in this case, because it's all cash.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I have like 5 to 10 grand at any time in there. And I could just never really get ahead though, because I was always like using it too to live.
Yeah.
And then when that hit, that was a life changer, just because I had like a big giant lump sum like that all at one time, and then I could like breathe. And I was
Yeah.
like, now I can like breathe, and now I can really focus and not have to think about anything else. And I completely turned off the car flipping and all that shit, and I was like, now I can just focus on this, and let's try to get some momentum. And if something falls in my lap that isn't a house, I'll still flip it, whatever. But I'm not gonna like focus on that really.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the first one was 75. Um, and then I don't know. I think the first year, if I remember right, I made like 95 grand or something the first year doing it. And this year it should be probably close to double that. So it's moving in the right direction
Yeah.
for
Is that
sure.
like top? That's just revenue. And then the part that like people don't think about is the taxes and the structure and that like are you deep into that too? Have you like formed an LLC? Like Mark probably helped you with all that, right?
Yeah, so I just have like a company. I'm not real deep into it, but I have like a company. I just like run it all through and then pay myself out
Yeah.
basically.
So you do payroll. So
Yeah,
you're taxed. Are you an LLC taxed as an S corp? And then
yeah.
yeah, that's I didn't know that. Pace linked me up with a CPA who I'm actually filming tomorrow morning. We have like an agreement for my Kanode video. He handles my taxes in exchange for one video shoot per month. Simple videos, and it's like I love it. Great relationship. Thank you, Pace. This is Pace's microphone and Pace's like receiver that he was just like, yeah, sure, go use it. I'm like, yes, this is amazing. Uh yeah, so the business structure, that was a big learning curve of like being on my own. I was like excited to be my own boss, and then all of a sudden now I'm like working 12 hours a day and not letting myself go on vacation. It's just like, oh, it's more fulfilling because you're doing it for yourself and it feels good. But at the same time, it is just grind, 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 work, work, work. Like I want to know, for example, like what was your day to day? What is you know, Swamp Fest happened last weekend, but like you are you back to work? What did you do today?
Today, what did I do? This morning, woke up, had to deal with some like just title issues, call escrow, whatever, on like a couple properties, just check up on like what was going on. And
Hold on.
then
Call escrow, couple properties. What does that mean?
just like we're in the middle of escrow, like
Okay.
closing on a couple deals.
Yes.
So I just called them, had to check on some random stuff, get like the payoff for the seller and just
I'm
dumb.
interested. What's the random stuff? Like, what's the little doodads? Like, for example, today,
Okay.
what is an escrow specifically?
Okay. So we have one in, where is that one? It's in Yucca Valley. No, not Yucca Valley. 29 Palms, which is like out in the desert. So that one is in escrow right now. And it's like there's some weird stuff on the chain of title where like somebody died, but there wasn't a will. So we're trying to basically get the house transferred into the son's name without having to go through probate, which is kind of difficult. So
That
we're
sounds like
trying to,
something Pace is really good at,
yeah, we're
actually.
trying to see if we can bob and weave through that without having to go through probate. So just calling up, seeing if they got documents in from all these different people to see if it can work, basically.
And
And
then probate, for the layman's who are listening, is the process of it's I've done videos for a probate attorney and you explained it all to me and I can't, like, I don't know how to recite it. It has to do with like dying and then transferring to the beneficiaries.
yeah,
That's
basically, it's like finding the rightful owner of the property or like who it should go to next if somebody doesn't have like a trust.
okay. Yeah.
So if they don't have a trust in place, then a lot of times it has to go through probate to make sure that there isn't anybody else who is supposed to be getting some of the proceeds.
Yeah. And so
You
that's
know?
why a relationship with a probate attorney can help you, because when like somebody dies, they don't have a trust, and they, or like somebody dies, what's the ideal situation when you have a partnership with a probate attorney? We're going to get back to your little details of escrow today, but like somebody dies, a homeowner dies, and then they haven't written a trust, and then the probate attorney of the dude who died calls you and it's like, do you want this property? Is that doesn't seem right.
I mean, I haven't really done the attorney thing too much. Mark has like maybe one guy who will send us stuff every once in a while, but I think typically what it is not probate attorneys that are calling. It's like I forget what you call it, but just like after death planning, like people are
Okay.
like also attorneys. But anyways, I mean, I think the ideal scenario would be, yeah, somebody comes to the probate attorney and they're like, hey, my dad just died, whatever. Like he's, he didn't have a trust, didn't have a will. So we're gonna have to go through probate. And they're like, okay, well, what are your plans with the house? And they're like, it's a piece of shit. We just want to get it off our hands as fast as possible. And then the probate attorney would call you, or they'd tell them, hey, I have a guy, and basically they co-sign you, and then
Yeah. And
you
then you go in
you
and
get the
buy it for
co-sign,
cash.
you
Yeah.
slide in there.
Boom.
Not the case with this one. This was actually a friend of a friend, and thanks to Instagram, they knew what I did. So they slid me in there, gave me the warm introduction,
Beautiful.
and yeah. So now here we are, and we're just trying to figure out if we're gonna have to go through probate or not. But it's looking like no, is what I found out this morning. And then we have another one in Pomona right now, which was from cold calling, and it was a boot camp thing we did that actually a bunch of my friends were in, where we basically just showed them exactly what to do, and it was really like hands-on and like in person on like a
Who
daily
did I talk
basis.
to that's doing that? Is it Chris?
Chris Island was doing it, like Francis was doing it, Jacob was doing it, Trevor Siglotch was doing it.
Yeah,
uh,
Trevi was the one. I was like, what? You're doing that? Cool. Good for you.
yeah, so we kind of felt there was like a little hole, not only in SoCal where there's a lot of people that do it, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people that actually like teach it. There's a ton in Phoenix,
Right. Yeah.
but there's
You
not.
guys, you and Mark could easily be the Pace and Jamil of Southern California, you know?
I mean, there's not really anybody else attacking it, which is strange. But yeah, so I mean, we did that boot camp thing, and showed a bunch of my friends what to do, and it was like super hands-on. And we even like rented the office next to our office so that we could set up their own, they could all set up their own little office in there. And it was like a really, best way to put it is like a really good internship,
Yeah.
and we took in 20 people. At the end, we had a handful, which we knew, which is why we took in 20 in the first place.
Because it's miserable. Cold calling is like the worst.
Yeah, because like 15 or 16 of them dropped off.
Yeah.
And we had a handful of people that are still going at the end. But, and I'm happy to say this, the kid who was in there every day, the whole time, start to finish, every single day, come in before I even got there. He'd get there at like 8 in the morning, and he wouldn't leave till like 7 or 8 at night. So exactly what I did, pretty much.
He wanted it.
He wanted. His name's Jeremy. I go to like dirt bike riding with him and shit. He is the one who got the first deal out of that.
Beautiful.
So we got.
And he gets to split that with you guys.
Same
win-win
deal, pretty much. Yeah, as I got a little less percentage wise, but yeah, he got to basically get a bunch of free leads handed to him. He got the system set up for him to do it completely, the cold calling, all that stuff, the headset, the everything, the environment to do it in. I'm in the next room over. He can come and ask me, hey, I got this problem, blah, 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 blah. Oh, here's what I think you should do. Like, it's literally like just basically the same opportunity I got.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
he was the first one to actually sign a contract from that. And he was the one who worked the hardest by far out of anybody. So it's good to see him get it. But at the end, I kind of like what you're talking about when you're in front of the mastermind. He talked to her, he followed up with her, all this stuff. And then at the end, when it was time to sign a contract, I came in, talked to her, got it signed,
Bring
whatever.
the closer in,
And then, so now we're just in escrow, and there's, we were just talking, we're helping her move, we're like paying for the moving truck and shit. So I was just coordinating that stuff, called escrow to check up and see if they had like, her what do you call it, her HUD ready. HUD statement is basically just shows her what she's going to walk away with. Kind of boring shit, but yeah.
In real estate, does it stand for heads up display? Because that's, I think, what it is in like video games, but I don't think that's what it is.
No, there's two definitions in real estate. It's housing urban development, which is not the one I'm talking about. That's like Section 8.
Yeah.
And then there's the one I'm talking about, which I have no fucking clue what it stands for.
Home understanding document.
I have no clue, but yeah, it's basically just like a receipt of like where the money's going when we close.
Yeah.
So calls for that. And then after that, I had a little FaceTime meeting with another wholesaler nearby who he's basically tired of wholesaling and he wants to start flipping.
That's the logical next step. It's just like, I'm tired of giving away, because you see the potential and you're taking this like assignment fee of $5,000, and then this guy goes and makes $80K or more by flipping it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more risk and coordination and all that involved.
And we've since too, like probably like 6 months ago, we switched from doing like 75% wholesale and like 25% flipping to now we're doing like 75% flipping and 25% wholesaling.
Probably a good move, right?
Yeah, I mean, the reason we were doing the wholesaling thing in the first place was just because Mark is like getting older and his risk tolerance is a little lower, and he also doesn't want to be like managing contractors and shit. Yep. But I was so tired of wholesaling shit, and just like, not because we were leaving money on the table necessarily, but it was more like a internal conflict where I like to say what I mean and mean what I say. And a lot of times when you're wholesaling, you can't do that because you have to leave a lot of things open-ended. Yep. You have to be like, oh, maybe I can do this. Perhaps we'll do this. You're trying to leave it open-ended in case something changes when the buyer comes in.
Yep.
You can like back out or, change something or whatever. Whereas
that's smart. That's covering your ass for when the buyer backs out and you have to go back to the seller and be like, sorry,
I know, but it's just like, I hate making like false promises and like all this shit. So I'm just like, I like flipping a lot better because I can go to the seller, I can say, obviously you still do all the same negotiation tactics. You still talk to them the same way. But at the end, when it really comes down to it, you're like, look, I can give you 425 grand and we'll close on this day. And here's our
Right.
proof of funds, our real proof of funds, which is our money.
Yeah.
And, we'll go with no contingencies, no anything. We're buying your house. Like, you can sleep well at night. I can sleep well at night.
Yeah, that's dope.
I'm not fucking you around.
Yeah.
Like,
Wholesaling, you got to fake it till you make it, which is like, doesn't feel good. You know?
I hate that. So now instead of going at it with a wholesale first mentality, we're going at it with a flip first. And then if we get something that we don't want, then sure, we'll wholesale it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So let's bring this back to filmmaking, not filmmaking in this case, but using video content to, spread your net. Because like Templeton, for example, the guy that I was talking about, I did vlogs for.
I didn't finish my day.
Okay. Oh, my bad. Oops. Go for it.
I have an.
Yeah, it sounded like you did 2 phone calls. What a day,
No. I have an important thing to point out. So since we're flipping more, and this leads into exactly what I was just saying, but since we're flipping more, I've been dealing with wholesalers as well. You get them however you can. If it's a good deal, it's a good deal. So it's not all our marketing. So I'm dealing with this wholesaler that I found by calling a bandit sign, which is those yellow signs for anybody watching that's like on the poles that say I'll buy houses. So anytime I see one, I call him, I say, hey, put me on your list, blah, blah, blah. And
smart.
So that dude called me and he's like, hey, I have this house in Norco, blah, blah, blah. Are you interested? And I look at it, he's asking like $595. The ARV is like $750, $760, but it's kind of a big house. And
how much work, how much money do you think you would have to put into it? Like, is it a deal at those numbers or no?
No, we'd have to put like 90 into it probably. So like 90 or 100. And so I'm like, look, dude, I'll do 535 on it. He's asking 595. I'm like, I can do 535. If you can't get somebody for it, I don't expect that I'm going to be the number one option here, but just let me know. And, a couple weeks goes by, he calls me back, couldn't get anybody. So he's like, hey, we'll take it.
Nice.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Didn't expect that. But
how does it make you feel when he calls you and tells you we'll take it? It's gotta be a rush.
Dude, I fucking love when I love when I call their bluff or I just don't care.
Yeah.
And
power moves.
And I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna budge. And you're like, your heart's racing at that point because you're like, did I just lose it or are they gonna come back to me?
Yeah.
And then when they
I
do
wonder where
back,
you learned that, Mr. Car Flipper. It's Craigslist hustler. Oh my God. Selling things on Craigslist. I've dealt with people like you where you just make up a super low number to see if I'll bite. And then I'm naive and I just bite, dude.
Yeah. I love you. You're the best.
Yeah, I would sell you my house and get screwed over. That's funny, man.
But I actually went out to this property and like a lot of times you put on, I don't want to say you put on an act, but like you might
put on a different face.
You're like building rapport with them. So
right.
You're like trying to act interested in shit that maybe you're not that interested in.
Oh, you collect Pokemon cards? Which ones?
Yeah.
Tell me about this one.
Sometimes, and I didn't even have to build rapport on this one because it was already under contract with a different guy.
Yeah.
So this is how you know it's actually genuine. I went and looked at the house, or when I looked at the house, I talked to these people, and it's 2 older folks, and their whole career they had been shooting for LA news channels. So
Sick.
The guy was a filmer, and she was the one who would like drive the van into a wildfire, and like they'd be shooting out the sunroof and stuff.
That's very cool.
So I got to talking to them, and they're also trying to move to Texas, and they were conservative and stuff. So like we got along extremely well.
Yes, I love it.
And I'm already good at talking to old people, but these people were just cool. So like I ended up talking to them because I wanted to, not because I was trying to build rapport.
Yeah.
For like 2 hours with the wholesaler guy just standing there.
And he's like, "Oh, you're really good at this, dude."
And it was just totally genuine. And unfortunately, anyways, the old man, he was like, yeah, I want to like monetize this footage. I'm retired from the news business, but I still own it all. And I start telling him about Austin Augie and Adam and all these guys who are making, money on YouTube, and they're doing this and how it all works and thumbnails and,
Yep.
exactly how he could do it. I even sent him like a bunch of examples of videos. I was like, you could do stuff just like this, like true crime kind of like
Yeah.
videos where they go through the story. And I'm like, you could totally do this. He knows how to edit and everything.
Yep.
And I'm like, this is all you. So like we bonded on that. And unfortunately, I couldn't give him my phone number though, because then obviously I can go around the wholesaler.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
I can't give him my phone number in front of the guy.
Right.
Long story short, we had a really good relationship there. Great people, like shit packed up, like ready to move, like a week ago when I was there. And so we like trying to finalize the deal, whatever. And like Monday, the guy just ghosts me, the wholesaler, just gone. Won't answer the phone, won't answer a text, won't do anything. And just like, yeah, he's just gone. I hit him up every day this week. No answer, no answer, no answer. So finally today I was like, you know what, fuck this. Like I'm driving to their house, which is typically a dirty practice. It's like an unspoken rule.
Yeah,
Like you
but
don't,
this is different circumstances.
yeah, you don't step on their toes, if they have it under contract. But he wasn't responding, and we had a deal done.
The wholesaler wasn't responding, not the
Yeah.
owner of the house that you have rapport with.
Yeah, exactly. So he wasn't responding. So I'm like, fuck this, dude. These are good people. Like, if he's fucking them over, like, I'm going to come in and just, like, I'll buy it without you. Like, fuck you. So I go there today, and they're just, like, sitting in their empty living room, already packed, loaded in camping chairs, just, like, bummed. And
Because the wholesaler's ghosting?
I knock on the door, and they're like, oh, my God, so good to see you, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out that the guy had it for the same price as I offered. And I offered $535, not knowing that, but he had it under contract for $535.
Oh, so
And
there's no money for him to make.
Instead of being a decent guy, knowing these people are already packed up, ready to move, like already bought a house in Texas, like ready to go, he just ghosted them because he's not making any money on it. And he couldn't get a reduction. And instead of just fucking assigning it to us, doing right by them.
Yeah, and then you would give him a cut, like, even though.
I mean, I couldn't. We were pretty maxed out at $535.
Yeah.
But all he had to say was like, hey, if you sell it for more than you think you're going to, give me something on the back end, or
right,
we'll make it up on the next one or something. So now he's ruined the relationship with them, lost the deal, ruined the relationship with me, because fuck you. I'm not dealing with that guy again. And that's the type of reasons that those wholesalers get a bad name, is because of shit like that. He left them hanging completely. And I wish I could end that story with, then we inked the deal at $535. I'm going to close on it. But during this week, Wednesday or something, the neighbor behind them, I guess, bought it for his daughter. And he's a contractor, and he's sitting on a bunch of cash. So they're supposed to close on like Monday. Money's already in and everything. But
so close.
I gave him my card, and I said, look, I hope I don't have to see you again. As much as I'd love to see you again, I hope I don't have to see you again. But, if that guy doesn't come through for some reason, we're rock solid, ready to go.
Yeah.
We already had the money literally like ready to put in escrow.
Yeah.
And this guy ghosted us. So I talked shit with them for another hour again, just because I like them.
Yep.
And came home.
That's the part that I really like about, like, because I'm filming Pace doing this, and it doesn't feel like work. You're just talking to people, and then bonding for a couple hours, and then that it's not work, but it is work, because it's all just the back end of, like, it's an interesting industry, and I encourage people to get into it, especially if they don't know what to do.
Yeah, you can. And I'm kind of the same way as Pace, without, especially if it's a BMX rider. And by that I mean, like, I didn't model this after Pace. It's just kind of the way I am, where like I don't give to, I would point to the fact that I don't give to charity, and I don't believe in like giving money to homeless people. I don't believe in God, whatever. So my thing is karma. And
karma's real.
Karma is like my God, my charity, everything. So if anybody hits me up, whether it's for like settings for their VX, or it's about flipping a car or houses or getting into this industry, whatever, I am like more than happy to fucking sit down, FaceTime you, do whatever I got to do to make sure you're in the best position you can be in. Whether I'm the expert or not, I'll at least tell you what I know, and try to get you closer to whatever it is you're trying to do. So if there's any filmmakers, BMX riders, anything out there, I especially like helping those guys because I know exactly where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you need any help, I'm fucking more than happy to help. And
I
if you
love
need
that.
help
There's
with
a
VX
term
setting,
for that. Have you heard Pace call it the go giver? I guess
the go giver, yeah,
Pace didn't coin that term, but he's the biggest go giver I've ever met. Like, for example, this microphone, just like tons of this gimbal, not that gimbal. Actually, that gimbal too. He gave that to me within like a month of knowing me. He had, 4 gimbals, and then he's like, use this mini one, and then he just hooked it up with another one, like to borrow and just use. And most of the stuff that I'm always working with him anyway.
yeah,
This is unrelated, but this is a pen branded for Pace Jam. That was our last mastermind. I've
nice.
been trying to edit a commercial for his upcoming mastermind, which is so baffling to me. Uh,
Did
so
you
on
hold
the
on?
go giver note, okay, go.
No, you can go ahead. Sorry.
On the go giver note, you want to, if somebody's watching this and they want to get into wholesaling, how do they reach you? And they want
Uh,
your advice. I guess
DM me,
Instagram.
just
Yeah.
DM me, Sauce the Boss on Instagram, and I'm down to help. I mean, I do it with random people all the time, just random
Do you go
Uber.
to seller appointments? Like you go to somebody's house and they're selling, like how many of those are you doing? Are you doing those often or what?
We
'Cause-
do like we'll do like half our deals, maybe a little more than half, come from the MLS. So my shit is split like half between sellers and agents. So yeah, I mean, kind of depends on the week, but I have it all structured out. I mean, if you're asking how many, probably like, I don't know, eight, 10 a week.
Because I would say
Going.
like that's the value of like if you wanted to invite somebody for a ride along, they can come to this appointment and watch you talk to a seller. And that's like huge value. And I filmed people watching Pace and I got to watch Pace in the meantime of it.
Yeah.
And he makes it look so easy. You're networking with traditional real estate agents to get deals too.
Oh
Which
yeah.
course are you signed up for? Astro or Sub 2? You're in Sub 2?
Sub two. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you gotten any deals from that community, the Facebook group?
I'm not nearly as like into it as a lot of people are. I bought it for the course
Yeah.
and I watched the course, and I've gone back to the course and watched it again, on a lot of things.
Yep.
But I'm not like one of those crazy like sub two guys who's like in the Facebook all the time
Right. Yeah.
and shit. But no, it's definitely helped me out on things where I just wasn't sure and I didn't know who to ask or something on a weird question. So I just throw it in there, and you got a lot of really smart people in there that have helped on things for sure.
Yeah, that's the selling point when I'm trying to create commercials for it. It's just like that really is the thing. Like, let alone you're learning how to do Sub 2 seller finance, creative financing, like things that aren't traditionally taught, but you're also getting a legitimate community of like students that have become mentors and millionaires across the whole country that you can partner up with and get help with or do deals with. And
Oh
like
yeah.
like I got this lead and it's in Florida, but I'm not in Florida, and then they hit up a Sub 2 person in Florida and it works out. It's so
If
cool, man.
if I
I'm
was
so glad I stumbled into this world and I'm just like adjacent to real estate right now.
but you're gonna be a beast when you finally fucking hop in and you got all that help and all that knowledge that you just acquired on accident.
Yeah,
But
for real.
I mean, I would probably use it a lot more if I was truly on my own and I didn't have Mark and I couldn't like piggyback off of his contacts. Because a
Yep.
lot of times I'll just ask him and he'll know. And if he doesn't know, then he'll be like, oh, call so and so. And then
Yeah.
I'll call so and so and they'll know. So like I don't have to resort to going to the Facebook. But if I was truly like by myself, it'd probably be the most invaluable thing in the world,
Yeah.
you know?
If you are I don't know, just like as a quick piece of advice for a BMX dude who's probably listening to this, I honestly don't think like this season 2 hasn't come out yet. So we'll see if anybody listens to this. But random BMX kid listens to this and he's like, maybe I want to try that. What is the literal first step? What does this kid do?
Uh, I mean, most people would probably say something else, but I would say try to figure out what your strong point is and go leverage that. So in my case, it was filming, and I went to Mark and was like, "Hey, let me basically be your right hand man, and I'll film you like in exchange." So, I mean, whether it's photography, whether it's filming, whether you're really organized, whether you're a personal assistant, whether
Yeah, you
you're
have something that you can
doing
give.
whatever the fuck it might be, just go to them, go to whoever it might be. You can look, if you're in Cleveland, you could look up real estate investing Cleveland on a hashtag on Instagram, and just like, go through and hit some people up and be like, hey, I'll work for you totally free and I want nothing in return. If you could just show me the ropes, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that. And don't go into it and just say like, hey, or hi, or can
Hi.
you help me or something. Like,
Yeah.
when I hit people up like that, I put a well curated like like multiple paragraph like thing together,
Yep.
saying like, this is who I am, this is the experience I have, this is how it can help you, and I'm willing to do it totally free. This position would probably cost you 60 grand a year, and I'm willing to do it totally free. All I want is a little help in return. So like, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I mean, you could buy a course, there's a lot of different things you can do, but that's always worked the best for me, is just going straight to the source
Yep.
and working for free. I'm a big fan of it.
Definitely maybe somebody not like as big and doing as much as like Pace and Jamil, for
You want to find
example.
a small time guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody local that, I agree. That the way you just mentioned that email structure reminded me of when I was working for Sabrosa and I'm sitting in Ryan Scher's living room and then we get an email from Sauce. Francis. It was either you or Francis
About the
saying
Rosa Rails for El Toro.
that happened much later. No, this was a sponsor me email for Julian, I think.
Mm.
I think Francis typed out like a multi-paragraph, well thought out thing. And I just got to watch the process of like that is it's such a silly thing. It was such a it's a I think back and it's like cool to be sponsored, but just that dream of just like the naive, like young kid, you're like, this is what I'm gonna do. And then you got sponsored, and then it's like, okay,
Now
now
what?
what? Like, thanks for the free bike parts, but
It seems kind of silly in retrospect, to be honest, but my heart is definitely still in that. So
yeah,
I get it, but it's just what you make of it,
exactly. That's
like,
why like Clay Johnson is definitely the inspiration lately of just like being an adult, dedicating time like 2 times a week to go out and ride and film. And then he has a killer video part in Mediocre at Best 2, which should come out in like 6 months, 5 months. It's
yeah,
coming. It's coming. A promo's coming soon. And then that usually sparks the banger season, as we call it,
yeah.
like where we bring a photographer and actually do the scary stuff. Like it's all mostly filler. Nah, there's some bangers. Nick Bonnell's in there. I'm
That
excited, man.
Nick Bonnell is a walking banger,
Yeah, he
but
and he filmed all his clips like 3 years ago, and then since then has done 2 or 3 big projects. He's got 2 in the works, and there's big things coming for Nick Bonnell as far as like good video parts. But
yeah,
that, and then that's the frustrating part, is just like you're so talented, but you have to work at a bike shop, and like where's the money? How do
he,
you create?
he's one of my favorite riders, honestly.
He's incredible.
But it's all about, in my opinion, like, you can write that well worded email and like show your 20,000 followers on Instagram and everything, and you may get those bike parts. But I think it's a big part of it, and what the reason all my friends are successful is because of the infrastructure they had at home backing them, with me, with Francis,
Yep.
with all the companies nearby, with all the jams and events going on, and the
Yep.
networking you can do without even realizing you're networking,
Yep.
because it's just so genuine. And just everything we had is the reason those guys, like Alec, if Alec could do a nose tail whip, but he lived in Kansas and he didn't have a filmer and he wasn't in a
Exactly. Yeah.
DVD and he didn't go to jams and touch hands with fucking everybody in the industry, he would just be that guy on Instagram who can do a nose tail whip.
Yeah. Which he was kind of like. I heard that he was the guy that would go to a jam and do a nose tail whip,
He
and then
was.
yeah, he
He
was
was.
the legendary nose whip guy.
His name is Nose Whip.
Yeah,
Like
that's
for that
awesome.
reason, because even before we knew him, he wasn't one of the kids who grew up with us. So we would just be like, "Oh, Nose Whip guy."
Nose whip guy. Yeah,
Yeah, Nose Whip. We didn't even know
love
his
it.
name.
He's so chill, man. I like that
He would
guy.
just go to every jam and do nose whips, but he got that initial spark that caught everybody's interest. But
Hmm.
then he could actually back it up with the video projects, with all that stuff.
Do you
So
talk to him? How's he doing lately?
uh yeah, lost a little steam on the biking thing. I mean, he's got a full-time job and stuff too,
What's he doing for
but
work?
I don't fucking know. He doesn't live like real close to all the rest of us, but it's something to do with like a car shop or something. But I mean, he's that's the reality of being a C class pro rider or
Yeah,
even a B class pro rider
yeah.
is you may
He's
get
up
that
there, but
check.
you have to, what is he getting paid from? Is he on Sunday?
Yeah, he gets
I
paid and he gets paid. He has a signature bike and shit.
Yeah.
So in the
But
world of BMX,
realistically, I mean, I don't want to air. Is it wrong to air out the numbers of like what pro riders get paid on podcasts? Like, I
that's
don't
the
know if they
good
do that
part.
on Unclicked, but like that's I want to know.
That's the
Like
good part about podcast and the
yeah,
bad part about the bad podcast.
yeah,
So yes, if you want to have a good podcast,
yeah.
then you air it all out.
I just remember like hearing about like holy smokes, you're so pro and you're living the dream life, and it was like maybe maybe a grand, maybe a little bit more than a grand a month, and it's just like damn, that's like literally below the poverty line.
Yeah,
You have to have some special things going on in order to keep a living going, and you know, like Dakota is an anomaly. Like
right.
the fact that owns a house and is married with, I don't know if he has kids, but seemingly does. Dakota doesn't have a job, right? He's just riding bikes. There's no
No,
way. There's no shot he has a job.
his job is being alive.
Yeah,
And
he's
when he's
prolific.
done with riding, he's probably going to slide right into some nice little job at Vans,
Yep.
and he's going to be chilling. But that's the difference between uh, B B team and the A
Yeah,
team
A
in
team.
BMX. So it's like I heard, and this is like the conversations you always have at a jam or when you're with your friends or whatever. But like I heard that Dennis Henderson has been making 10 grand a month from Vans since the day he signed to Vans.
Good for him, dude. I love that.
So
He
that's
deserves that for how
A team is a whole
stellar
different
he is.
level.
Yeah, A team is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, good for him.
But it's like, I want to ask you, who do you think you have those traditional guys? You got the Dennis, you got the Chads, you got the X Games boys,
Mm-hmm.
you got those guys who have been this A team tier, pro for the last like 10, 12, 15 years, whatever. But it seems like they aren't that A team class of riders isn't quite like they don't keep coming. Like it's rare to see somebody break into that. In my opinion, I see like Lewis Mills, I
Yep.
think, is kind of like breaking into that
Yep.
tier. You got like Felix Perenberg
Yep.
breaking into that, maybe like a Courage or somebody. But like,
100% courage. Courage is like, I don't know, that you don't see as, there's nothing wrong with courage. I just don't see, I don't know it might be what you're talking about, like location. He's in Europe, and then I heard he didn't have a passport or couldn't travel for a
you like
while, and
can't
that,
come to America or something for some
yeah,
reason.
which sucks, but he's one of the best bike riders in the world. I got to ride with him when I went to Barcelona for a freed trip.
Oh, Freed.
Yeah,
Shit, I forgot about
I got to
Freed.
watch Courage ride a curb in person, and it was just a memory I'll always have. What's the
I've never
question
met
about that?
Courage.
What's the what are you asking me about? B to A?
I'm just saying, like, out of the younger guys, like, who do you think could be making that 10 grand a month in 10 years from now? Like, who do you think who is on that trajectory? Because I feel like there was a lot more of them in the past than there is now, guys who I would view in that light,
Right. Yeah.
you
And
know?
then how long is Vans going to see it as a good investment to sponsor and pay that much money for, Dennis's like marketing? Because that's basically what it is just marketing expenses. And Vans is a worldwide like shoe company, so they have the budget for it, and they can like, so it might be a loss leader. I don't know if like the BMX pull is big enough to justify spending not only his salary but like several other riders' salaries. So like, since the company's so big, they have a little bit of money to push around. Like that's why you see like Levi's comes in and then drops their program entirely because they see the ROI is just like they're tracking, like where the sales are coming from and all that, and it's just like BMX is a niche thing. I think the A team in the future is going to look like you have to be your own company, like a Panza, Austin Augie, like people who just like pushed through and then got a YouTube following and can monetize that. And then you get partner deals. And then he stopped doing the vlogs. And I love watching Austin Augie go from being just ratty BMX kid in Tempe, Arizona to where he is now. Is cool to watch from a distance. And then I see him, once in a while. But
Yeah.
I think that's the whole, I don't know, system is going to shift to decentralized and less traditional. So like this, we might be seeing like the last of the A teams. But let's see, I'm thinking of riders who I love watching. I just watched that new Atencio video. That was pretty epic. He goes hard. Did you see it?
I think the last true guys, in my opinion, who are like really like A team is Brock and like Devin.
Yeah.
Are kind of like on the tail end of that like pros pro
Right.
type of guys who are actually making like decent money, and they're on the younger side, but that younger side is like fucking, they're both like 27.
Yeah, exactly.
So like
I
it
don't have
used to
my
be
finger on the pulse anymore. Like I
younger.
don't know who the 16-year-old prodigy is that's coming up next.
I don't even mean that. I mean like who's the guy who could go from being drafted as a bench player and end up being LeBron. Like
Yeah.
in my opinion it's Felix and Lewis.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
that's not enough people to fill all of the spots that
True.
exist right now,
Yeah. Who else is let's see. I love Lewis. When I think we've spoken. I talked to his homie Ben, who I should get on here and talk to him. Because he's a filmer guy.
You should.
But like through Instagram or whatever, when I met Ben, you were there, and or when I met Lewis, he's just such a nice, friendly dude, way taller than I imagined, and gave me I took a selfie with him. I was like, let me take a selfie with you, dude. And he kissed me on the cheek. I was like, love you, man.
Yeah.
So personality plus like the most stylish progressive riding, that's key. Personality, I think, plays a big part in it. And then Felix has that air about him. Like I saw him at the Angles premiere and I was just like, I'm a big fan, dude. Like
Yeah.
so good.
And they're like, I mean, Lewis is 21 maybe.
Yep.
And Felix a little bit older, I don't know, 23 or 4 maybe. But I feel like those guys could be, and I think a big part of it is, like you said, their personality. They jive well with the existing older guys.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Garrett wants to kick it with Lewis, and so does Ty.
like Lewis.
Yeah.
Garrett's like, yeah, dude, stay at my house for fucking 3 months.
Yeah,
like you're
exactly.
the homie, and he's just got that in him where he can get along with all those guys. But maybe part of it too is the generation is just soft and they're scared to ask for things.
Yeah. And
like
that's a common thing in the BMX world, is like people undersell themselves and they don't know what they're worth, and like you can't, they don't have the business acumen to be like, okay, I am a marketing material, constantly living, breathing marketing billboard for your company. So what am I worth to you? Like if and then the way you learn to sell that is just like think about from the perspective of the company. Suppose I influence 20 kids to buy complete bikes in a month. How many
to return? Yeah.
What do you get out of that? And then that's how you can sell yourself. I can't believe I didn't bring up Matt Ray. Matt Ray's like up there. I'd be breaking through to whatever A team is, and he's doing his own thing with the YouTube. I'm proud of Matt. He's come a long way from just being the
double bar guy.
Yeah, double bar guy.
Yeah.
Simone, like I know he's got to be making a good living. He's
already
18.
there. He's one of them, in my opinion.
And he's so far advanced to where he's just doing whatever he wants. He's an artist. The latest video he put out was beautiful.
Yeah.
What's filming wise? Who's your favorite like BMX filmer? I'd say Rich Forn.
I like Tony Ennis.
Yeah, Tony's OG too.
I like Ennis and Mastroni.
Yeah, Mastroni's very good. So solid. Very influenced by Buster. And yeah, me too. I love the Buster and Hunter O'Shea happy mediums shit.
Yeah,
Their style of filming fisheye is what I am tried to emulate, and it works out well because it's just fundamentally sound. The
yeah,
fundamentals,
exactly.
that's I want to teach people, I want to share like the tips of like how to actually film fisheye, because like a fish people get it and then they just like point it at the, and I'm just like, oh god, dude, it's so
What
bad.
what about filmers? Do you think the same guys that are filming right now are going to be filming when they're 70 because there's nobody to replace them?
Just the purists.
Because
I
I
know
can't tell you one person. I can't tell you one kid
who's a filmer, right?
younger than me, that is doing anything except maybe Ben Norris. I think is a little younger than me, but other than that, I can't think of anybody.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name, but TAIF, TAIF is the new video from Canada or DVD that came out. Oh, why can't I think of his name? We gotta shout him out. And it has Jordan Hango in it.
I know the video. I just Andrew Schubert, is that his name?
Yeah,
Okay.
Schubert. So he's doing it. He's killing it. And then through like creating a DVD, I've met other DVD makers, and let's see, but like taking it seriously and putting effort into filming and editing and making something awesome, it is rarer now, especially full length stuff. I
I
think
just mean like even web edits, but like how old were you when you went and hung out with TCU guys? You were what, like 20?
20 turning 21. Yeah.
So like, and then I mean, people knew me and Francis when we were teenagers, but like I can't think of anybody that is a teenager or like even early 20s that is doing that really, other than like the
Jonah.
norms.
Jonah's still going hard. He's working like part-time or full-time for Shadow and Sabrosa. Jonah Jachan
Okay.
doing like little web stuff. I want to see more out of you, Jonah. Um, yeah, he like, I think he was at Swamp Fest filming for that, and just I think the model has changed. Like they're not doing as many team trips, and then like for Shadow and Sabrosa, for example, they do one team trip a year, just a big shebang. Chadwick films it and then does a masterpiece, and then they win the video of the year or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the model, and it's not the, I think companies see that like the amount of money that you have to pay to have a good filmer and then travel and then go to different spots, and the amount of time is just not worth the investment. Like you can get just as good of marketing from Eric Ballman's reels, like for
Dude,
it's
I always
changing.
I always thought that like when I was like gonna invoice for a trip or like we were negotiating and stuff, I would just be thinking in the back of my head, I can't help but put myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
So like I think like, oh, what do I want? I come to a number and then I'd be like, yeah, but like what's like realistic for them? Like what are they really gonna get out of this? And I feel like a lot of people don't think about that. So I would like feel bad asking them for fucking money. And
Well, for in this example, what's your number that you want over like 1,000?
so like for OSS trip, all the smoke a couple years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I think that was like a 2 week trip and I got, I don't know, like maybe $2,000 for it, $1,500 for it, something like that.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
So I mean, I did it.
Especially for BMX. That's really not bad for BMX. Like a 2 week trip, 1,500. But
I didn't do it obviously for the money. I did it because it was fun.
yeah.
But I mean, and I also like I'm not gonna let you give me nothing either.
Yeah.
So it was like it's a balancing act. But and then they got hotels, they got gas, they got all this shit on top of it. So it's like that could easily be a fucking $10,000 trip, like
Right.
overnight, and we're promoting a clothing line. So
Yeah.
that's what's going through my head.
Yeah.
I feel
And
like
the
other
margins on the
people,
clothing, like how much money are you really making with the clothing? Are you taking money from other companies to fund this? Like
yeah, exactly. So
that's
it's like
interesting.
it's weird. So I have to like tone down what I actually would charge. And then they were gonna do OSS did this like SF trip or whatever, like maybe a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was already doing real estate stuff. So I was like, bro, like I want to do it. It'd be fun, but like I ain't gonna like you gotta pay me like
Opportunity cost,
decent. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I could possibly lose out on a fucking $90,000 deal
Yeah.
being gone for a week.
Yep.
And I'm like, I give you a number if you want to hear it, but I don't think you're gonna like it. And like, oh well, what do you want? And I was like, this is half the time. And I said $4,000 for 1 week instead of 1,500 or two for 2 weeks the
Yeah.
prior year.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, no,
My price is going up, dog.
I'm not doing it. And I was like, that's what I expected, but at the same time, like I just can't justify it.
I heard Elevated Perspective. What's his
Yeah,
name?
yeah. He's one dude who's actually like doing a lot of shit.
And he's out there like charging good amounts of money. And or at least I heard a rumor that he just asked for a large sum for filming whatever, some video. I'll leave it whatever. But I was just like impressed with how much he was asking for. It's ballsy. He must have like good business savvy parents.
It depends what company you're talking to too. Like he's best friends with fucking not best friends, but he's friends with all the San Diego guys, like Dennis, Chad, all them.
Yeah.
So you
I
kind of
want to
got
talk to him. I want to talk to him about. He's in it. I think he's in the thick of it, traveling and filming BMX and like scraping by with that. So
I don't know if he's scraping by though. I mean, he's filming some good shit.
Yeah, but I mean, what I mean by scraping by is like making a living and like being able to pay and not worry about, Is that what you're saying? He's not scraping by?
Yeah, he might be doing all right.
Yeah.
Who do you think made the most money ever as a BMX filmer?
Maybe Stu, because of the longevity and the various projects and in the heyday of selling DVDs and Anthem and props. Props has got to be a pretty good moneymaker. There was like back in the day when videos were sold as a product, like Chad Shackelford Shook was big, and I can only imagine because that was distributed in every bike shop. It's interesting how it changed because like my first DVD, Mediocre at Best, partnered with Ronnie at Shadow and Sabrosa, and he helped distribute it. And then I saw like so it was like it was dying out, but it was still an okay investment for him to like put the couple thousand into like the production and distribution of it and then get the return. And it became a worldwide. It was so sick, dude. Like just with the help of Ronnie, I got kids in New Zealand hitting me up like Mediocre at Best is the coolest BMX DVD ever. And I'm like, dude, what? It's so cool.
Yeah. We did our own distribution on Monster Mash and
it's tough.
Fucking sold it to bike shop, like distros in like Japan and distros in Australia, and like sold it to Dance Comp. And Dance Comp
as a physical DVD.
Yeah. Dance Comp was our number one buyer. Like
nice.
They bought. They kept reordering it, so I don't really know how.
Get out of here! That's
bought,
sick. When was this?
What was that?
When was it? It wasn't that long ago. 6 years.
2016.
Yeah, 5 years ago. That's sick. Yeah. And they were still distributing it, selling a physical DVD, which nobody can even play anymore. Like it's all a digital download.
Like people were like, "What? You got this on Dance Comp? Blah blah blah."
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, we want to make it accessible for you guys and easy. So, it's all about like whenever you think this is a good thing for any shy little BMX kid who doesn't know their worth is like whenever you think you shouldn't ask the question, probably means you should ask it more.
Yeah.
So like you think like I wasn't scared because I was already used to asking.
Yeah.
Going out on a limb and asking questions, but like with Dance Comp, people were like so surprised by it. And I was like, why is this surprising? Like it's a BMX video on a site that sells BMX stuff.
Exactly.
But people were taken back by it. So I was just like, you guys need to like learn how to just like ask. Like, you know how many
the worst thing that happens is they say no.
You know how many things I've gotten in my life by just asking?
Yeah. The fear of rejection is a very valid, real fear that a lot of people have.
Yeah. 100%. It's it's an irrational one too. Like worst thing I say is no. Just keep.
Do you have? So that's fine. I'm not sure how to wrap that little segment up, but do you have anything like in mind that you want to do, like passion projects? So like real estate, you're passionate about it at this point, and that's like your main focus. But like on the side, I think did I ask you earlier if you did the Road to Grime?
No, but yeah, I did that one with them.
That's that's phenomenal. So maybe I don't know. Do you have any like homie trips planned? Like do another trip to Barcelona, film the boys, hang out?
Uh, Nothing really lined up right this second, but I do want to keep that rolling and try to do one like once a year or something, where we just go somewhere for a couple weeks and
Yeah,
uh, bang out like because that's the best. You can bang out a really good video if you just spend
100%.
a couple weeks anywhere with
Yeah,
like 10 people.
yeah.
So for me, schedule wise, that's the best way to do it. That's the way I like doing it. But no, I don't have anything right this second. But I would like to keep that rolling. It's just kind of hard to like when you're in the middle of deals and shit to like break away for 2 weeks,
Right.
you know?
But
And
you
like
can still do business over the phone. Like I see Pace is like literally traveling this the country right now and still managing
he has a
all the
much
stuff.
bigger team than we do.
Yeah, 100%. He scaled it up. That's the thing that is also a big selling point for joining Sub 2 is
He,
learning how to scale.
he can
Uh,
pass something off to somebody if he needs to.
Yeah, he's got
So
partners that stand up for him.
yeah, I mean, in a pinch, he could call Jamil and be like, "Hey, can you talk to this guy for me?" or
Yeah,
whatever if he had to.
and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's
So
also yeah, he's got a good team. Anyway, what brought up Pace?
no, you just said, is there any passion projects?
Right.
And I'd like to keep that rolling. Part of the motivation I think about like almost on a daily basis doing the real estate thing is I want to get to the point with the passive income where I can fuck off for a little bit. And I don't even know if this is possible, but again, you got to ask the question. And I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I would love to license the name Road Fools and actually buy an
Dude,
RV
yeah,
and do
dude.
that. And I think it would go horribly nowadays because everybody's so soft and they have so many opinions and hate each other.
Yeah,
But I still think that would make for great entertainment. And
100%.
with that name behind it, I think you could actually sell like digital downloads or like you could sell the season almost like a King of the Road type
Yes.
thing. And I would love to do that. I think that'd be really, really, really fun. And it's something that's lacking, and it's something that the young guys could get behind and the old guys could get behind and kind of like unite everybody. And it's also something that plays into my favor a little bit because I could help out executing it because a I'd probably bring additional filmers, but like I could film some stuff. I'll do it for free just because like I want to see it happen. Like it'd be
Yeah.
fun. And
You
if that
produce it, you invest in the
I'll
things that
buy
need
the
to be invested
RV.
in. Yeah,
I'll buy the
exactly.
RV
And
because
then
I want one anyways.
yeah.
So it's like I'll do all of that shit. Now you get if I can get companies to just pay for the gas, pay for like hotels, pay for that shit,
Yep.
then it's like it makes it a lot easier than like, okay, we have to buy an RV, we have to rent it, we have to do all this shit. Like
Yeah.
I just like give them a little like nudge, like
Yeah.
here, I'll make it easier for you guys. Now just give me some money so it's not completely out of pocket.
Chris Rye, is that who did? I feel like my mind's blank, but who did the original Road Fools?
It sounds right.
Chris Rye.
Yeah.
I don't know. So what you mentioned digital downloads, and I think that that's kind of where the industry's shifting in comedy, in podcasts, in a lot of different things. It's Patreon. It's like the No Fun video that Trey Jones and Chadwick just dropped on Soundscape, or I'm not sure, Sound Surf. I'm gonna talk to Chadwick either in person or over Zoom and talk about that. I'm very curious about all that, like, because I think that's the future too. It's just everything's online. Have you heard about this buying digital real estate and NFTs and shit? I heard so like the metaverse is happening, but it's not exclusive to Facebook's metaverse. It's just like a big decentralized virtual world, and there is real estate within that you can purchase using Ethereum or different crypto. And there's these companies that are going in and buying super rare NFTs like art pieces, just holding them and then planning on when virtual reality gets to the point where like either we have the Neuralink or like the metaverse plugin Oculus stuff, and they will charge admission with to go into this museum to see all these rare NFTs in a virtual museum. And it's just like, huh? And the future is very weird. It's going to be like we're all sitting in our rooms, but we're going into this crazy world. And then we'll get super fat and die of COVID.
I'm gonna be the youngest old guy in the world because
what the hell's a meta?
fuck all that. What the hell is a metaverse? You can
what in the world? Imagine you could do any bicycle trick. Sauce, you would love it. You would be able to bar spin if you wanted to.
You can suck my metaverse, all right? No, like I'm telling you, I'm gonna be the youngest old guy because all that shit, I know people make money at it. I know it's viable for now, but like that's part of the reason I like real estate is because there's a proven track record that millions of people have already traversed.
Yep.
And like I can just literally copy them.
Yep.
I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't have to. I'm a risk taker, but I'm a calculated risk taker. So like,
and a hard worker and a grinder, and you're committed to it. So you're balls deep in it right now.
But that's what drew me to it in the first place, is because like I know, yes, if I spent all my time looking at stocks, I could probably be a great stock trader. I could probably be a fucking crypto guy, whatever. But it's all just like not so much stocks. I get stocks, but like the crypto, the NFT, stuff like that. It's all just like fairy dust. It's like
I'm interested in it, but I don't know, dude.
I respect it. Make your money while you can, but it just is not my thing.
I saw a TikTok that was telling you to invest weekly into a small amount of Bitcoin, and then over the next 10 years, you could become a millionaire or something like that. Like $100 a week, invest in Bitcoin specifically, because that's the one that has like only a certain amount. Or TikTok is feeding me crypto talks, and I'm just like, give me, show me the.
Like I said, people are gonna make a shitload of money, and they already have made a shitload of money on it.
Yeah,
but I'm okay. I don't have FOMO. I'm okay with missing out on that money.
Well, real estate's not going anywhere. People need to live in places.
To sit in your fucking room and be in your meta universe, you're going to need to have a room. So I'll provide you the room, motherfucker, so that you can play with your Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like I might be a young old guy is all I'm saying. I don't know. And to that point too, you said passion projects. Another one that isn't related to BMX, but is related to kind of filming is I want to do a thing. I haven't really put a name on it yet, but something maybe along the lines of like Wisdom Warehouse or something like that, where I basically like, do you remember when I think it was last year, I bought that car in Kansas and I took Route 66 the whole way back?
Yeah. And I watched the whole thing on your story. It was sick.
I was showing like all the old guys that own the signs and the cars and talking to them.
The eccentric Americans in the middle of America.
Kind of doing interviews, like shitty interviews with them and shit like that. So, and just filming them tell stories and stuff. Like I would love nothing more than to do that. And it doesn't have to be some redneck in fucking Missouri or something. Like it could be anybody, even the guy I talked to today who was like the guy who worked for the news in California.
Yeah, that's an interesting story.
Like anybody that has a weird perspective, but older generation, that I think that's the way I could make an impact in a positive way is by my ability to get along with those people and being young and kind of like bridge the gap. Whereas I think a lot of younger people, they look at those guys and they're just like, oh, you're crazy, you're racist, you're this. They just like write them off. To me, I've learned a shitload by listening to old guys.
Yeah, 100%.
And you don't want to. This is the
you got to sift through some of the stuff because they do say some racist things sometimes.
That is exactly what I was about to say. Like you have to. The problem with it is you can't take it at face value and just consume it all.
Right.
You have to pick and choose. Okay, that was a good point. Let me take that. That was a good point. Let me take that. Okay, slow it down.
Okay, slow it down.
Like let's throw that one out the window. Yeah. But if you listen to it, if you listen to them, whether it be a story, whether it be them just straight up telling you word for word, here's what you should do, whatever it is, like you have to take it with a grain of salt. You have to use your own common sense, but there's a lot to be learned from them and a lot of mistakes you can avoid making in the first place by just listening to enough of them. And it's like you hear somebody say something, you hear a 70-year-old guy say something enough times, it's like, okay, maybe I should just avoid doing that.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
clearly they've been through it, clearly they've done it. And I've heard five guys say, don't do that or do this. It's like, maybe I should just listen.
It's funny how it works. Like you're super young and you're dumb, you don't know anything about the world. And then like you get a little bit older, you're late teens, 20s, you're in college and you're like, oh, I get everything. I know everything. And then you reach a point where you're like, oh, I know nothing. And then there's like a term for that. It's like you go up and then down, or I forget, some sort of psychological thing. But yeah, there's a lot of wisdom that comes from people who have been on Earth for a lot longer than us.
But and they don't have the ability to really talk to the younger generation because they're not fucking vlogging on YouTube or something.
Right.
So it's like we have a bunch of this echo chamber of just retards talking to other retards.
Yeah.
So sorry, but that's what it is. And I mean,
sorry.
I would like to like put some shit out there where whether it's interviewing them or just letting them, talk and tell stories, or just giving them a topic and say, hey, go on this topic or whatever.
Yeah.
Almost like a DJ Vlad type thing.
Yep.
And do that and put it out there. And I think
once you get enough like momentum in real estate and you have the passive income coming, you can hire somebody who's, won't charge an arm and a leg, but can produce something pretty well and make a show out of it, or whatever it is. Wisdom Warehouse. I love that.
Yeah, because it's literally like, hey, and that would be my pitch to them. It's like, hey, I know I'm a random guy who just showed up at your doorstep here, but like my whole goal here is to store your knowledge. Would you agree that kids nowadays are dumbasses? 90% of old people would be like, yeah, you guys are fucking retarded.
Yep.
So I'd be like, do you want to help them out?
Yep.
Like, let's do this. And yeah, I think that would be a pretty rad thing to do. And I think too, it would be kind of easy to market on like TikTok and shit, especially because you can clip little things of just wise things they say.
I am exhausted thinking about clipping things out of that to put on TikTok. That's like my least favorite part. You do a podcast, but then you have to trim it out and find the pieces and put it on the TikTok and put it on the Instagram. And it's so
know what I'm saying?
So, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
They could hit hard if it's just really like that. And obviously you don't name it interview with Bertha fucking Willis.
Right.
You name it like
the key to happiness with
this
an
woman's
old woman.
Story of what the Great Depression taught her and how she leveraged it to make billions of dollars, or like whatever.
Yeah.
Or how she leveraged it to have the happiest life of all time.
You seen the one? There's an existing one that's really good where he just approaches. It might be staged, but he just has a cell phone. He approaches like random people, homeless people, or random bumpkins in the middle of the country, and it says, "Are you happy?" And then they answer, and then if you had a message to tell the world, what would you say? And it's the concept's being done, but you could do it in a very unique way with your world of cars and houses. That reminds me, I've been thinking about, I want to do one where I just I live in a complex. It's like condos or apartments, and there's like a bunch of interesting families that all have their own lives that I know nothing about, but I want to like knock on their door and be like, hey, you know how to do an interview? I'll just ask about anything, and then put together a little, like, it's called Neighbors, and
that would be interesting, dude.
Yeah, just the people who live around you and their perspectives, and get into the hard topics of like religion, politics, all that, and just see how diverse our world really is.
It would be sad. It would be sick. I've thought about that too, just like random people, but then it just escalated to, why don't I just stick to old people? Because they can't get their message across the way a lot of other people can, and they have a lot of good things to say if you have an editor to trim
to take out. And then this group of people moved into my neighborhood and it all went to shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a quote. I'm not even going to say it. One old man I spoke to once was telling me the story of how he grew up, and then he mentioned like that portion, and I was just like, okay, let's just skip that part, let's not worry about that.
Exactly.
It's from a different time. Like, imagine growing up in the 40s and 50s where like racism was the actual norm, like legitimate racism. You think black people are less than you, and it's just like normal. Ugh. It's weird. And then what we're doing now with racism back into politics is like redefining it as capitalism. Capitalism, anything that serves the structure that is. Yeah, we'll
I
skip
think
that.
it's all the media just provoking it is all it is,
Yeah, there's. I
in
think
my opinion.
that's
Because
you definitely can't take the news at face value. There's strings being pulled and things that are happening that aren't serious. I think this country has been on the verge of like collapse, and we've had to do some drastic things to just keep us afloat and not go into another terrible. So it's like the people in power have a decision between like this really evil thing or like the world ending, and it's like I got to do this evil thing, Like I think that's the type of stuff that's happening at the top.
I think it's just very whatever they're doing is very short-sighted. It's
Yeah,
not it's for their own personal gain, or it's for one of the people that are
we have a
giving them money or
fiduciary
something.
responsibility to our shareholders to maximize profit.
Right. It's not for the greater good of everybody. It's for a small group of people to benefit from, and that's the that's kind of just the shitty part. And yeah, capitalism isn't perfect, but part of it is
Freedom.
that
Yeah.
they can give you some stock in a company or whatever, and all of a sudden you throw your morals out the window. But to me, and again, I don't want to get into this, but to me, I think how it was back in the day, where you had more like normal folks that were in government rather than like career politician type
Mm-hmm.
people, would really, really, really improve things,
Yeah.
rather than having these guys who are that's their whole career. Like,
It's frustrating to see just the whole system, regardless of like what party it is, just sound bites on TV. Like you can't have a conversation within, 5 minutes and then like, oh, that's our time. We got to go. Thanks for sharing your 30-second point on why this other person is bad or why this other team is racist. And then the 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 fact that like the president is reading off of a teleprompter and controlled by a team of people is just like like it's just a puppet show, and I think
yeah,
we're all starting to see through it, and
I
I
think
don't know.
people are starting to kind of wake up to that fact.
Yeah.
But to me, I'd way rather see like the immigrant dad from LA as, a senator, and the
Mm-hmm.
stay-at-home mom from Georgia, and the farmer in fucking Iowa, like just all of the and the Italian guy who owns the bodega in, New
Yeah.
York, and like all of them, like just real normal people that actually do normal people shit. Maybe
And I
they're
think,
well off,
yeah, that
maybe
happens at the beginning of a society, is where like you have a respected normal person kind of like running the democracy. Like it's so big of a scale of like how can you like how do you run the United States, dude? 350 million people, 50 different states. Like it's baffling.
yeah.
Um, I want to wrap this up though. We've been going for a while, 2 hours, I think.
You still
First,
think you have a boring personality?
what's that?
You still think you have a boring personality?
Yeah, I'm self-deprecating to the death. I need to put like a post-it note because it comes in waves, dude. I'm like, I believe in Kanode knows I can make a podcast and I don't care. I'm doing it just for me and to enjoy the process of it. It's a cool excuse to sit and talk. But yeah, I need to like put some affirmations on my wall of like, hey, remember yesterday when you believed in yourself? You can do it again. So let's see. Are you a film head? Do you like watching movies? Do you have any recommendations on things I should be watching or things anybody should be watching? Nope. Ain't got no time for that. I'm making money, Bob.
Nah. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is my favorite movie. But
I got recommended to watch this horror movie called Malignant, and it was full of twists. Like it starts at 100% and then it goes to 250% by the end of it. You should watch that. It's wow. If you like scary movies,
I
that'll be
probably
my
won't.
recommendation for the day. Yeah, that's fine.
Probably won't, but thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Somebody listening, please watch.
Yeah.
Shout out Nathan Momper, my editor and film head. He tells me stuff to watch. All right, what about music? Do you listen to music? You got any, what are some closing words that you would like to leave us with, Austin? Quick.
Music, I like ignorant rap music you'd play in a strip club in 2010,
We
or actually
in 2000.
2000. Let's call it like 2006 probably, and then OGZ and outlaw country music like Hank Williams and fucking just
Beautiful.
just absolute degenerate fucking piece of shit
I love it.
people.
Pick a song. I'm gonna make a mediocre at best 2 promo soon. Tell me what song I should use.
I Like I said, you're talking to a guy who went through like 400 songs to figure out which one he should lay over his edit that was going to get 65 views
Old country sounds
in
sick. Or
2009.
outlaw country sounds awesome. That's not a bad vibe.
It's
This,
like underground country. You know, it's like the
yeah,
Seth Colorado Boys of country music.
exactly. I love that.
That's who I like.
Yeah, this next DVD is gonna be more animal. It's the writers in it are all pretty street. It's less of creative like Drew and Joey. There's less Joey, unfortunately. And then we do have some good Westcott. So it'll be a good blend of all of us. And I got, more clips than I did in Lightworks in this one because I lost weight and started riding again.
Where's your six pack?
My 6-pack is on its way. I mean, I'm doing no booze November. I'm intermittent fasting. I just did a salad and a smoothie and some chicken today. So I'm on the road and I've been hiking every day, you know?
Look at I'm a big healthy guy too.
Oh, hell yeah. Shout out Rar.
Yeah.
My guy John Matter.
I just got the new pack today.
Do you talk to him on Instagram? He's a character. He's posting all the fun stuff on his story.
No, I don't follow him or anything, but I have been drinking raw for like the last 2 years and I fuck with it.
It's sick. It makes you, even if I'm pretty sure it actually helps your body, but like even if it didn't, the placebo effect of like, this is healthy, I'm putting it in my body, and then you start to feel like, okay, you make healthier choices throughout the day. I have some raw in the fridge right now.
I like the idea of, even if I do eat bad, which I try not to, but even if I do, I still know I'm getting most of the shit I need.
Yeah, you got those
vitamin wise and stuff like
micronutrients,
that, you know?
Shout out
You know,
raw.
shout out to Raw, man.
Yeah,
Use
that was funny. Like in the old party days, Maloof, Reed, we're just drinking hard liquor all night, and then we wake up and we will wake up and have raw, and we're like, we're good. Let's go ride. We can no longer do that.
I use Maloof's code.
Yes, beautiful.
I use Maloof's code for Raw. Yeah.
I just asked him the other day if I can have a code, big time Bobby code, start promoting raw. I believe in it. I love raw. Joey Mata just got married a couple of weeks ago, and he's like he's doing good in landscaping, like fancy landscaping, working with, because he knows all of the plant names. So he's a busy beaver. And then
you
John's
plug
like
him.
recovering.
You plug him with any of the real estate guys?
Oh, for like landscape stuff, huh? No, I don't. I should.
I fucking love.
That's interesting because like on a fix and flip, and you want to just do something simple but dope. Ooh, that's a good idea. I gotta connect Joey with
dude. I fucking love. That's another like low key like passion of mine, is connecting.
Yeah.
Random people selflessly.
Yeah.
Without asking for anything. Like
yeah.
I just love, whether it be Sabrosa and Julian, and I think that was Francis. I don't think that was me.
Yeah.
But whether it be a sponsor and a rider, whether it be a contractor and a flipper, whether it be fucking anything, a guy who can tow something with a guy who just bought a car. Like, I love being the guy who knows everybody and just like plugging. And I have never lost a contact in my phone since I got a phone in 3rd grade.
Dude, yeah, so I have a lot of
contacts.
Have
every single person I've ever met in this fucking
thing.
How
do you keep your contacts? Do you do this shit where it's last name first and then first name? Do you fill out the fields, or do you just do first and last name?
I just put first name, last name, and then I do it like a YouTube video where I'll put like keywords in the notes.
Nice, yeah.
So if I need like,
so when you scroll though, is it going off of last name? So you have to go to K to find me?
No, first name.
Yeah, 100%. Same here.
But I'll have all those keywords, so it'll be like fucking landscaper, and then there'd be
the same for like
10 landscapers that come up.
Yeah, I got audio guy, I got lighting grip guy,
and I love that. Like, my fucking the guy who paints all my cars, I I'm his favorite customer by far, and he does everything for cost for me
Nice.
because I have
You
sent him
connect him.
so much work
Yep.
that like just whether it be the girl who like fucking wants her rims painted or like gets a dent in her fender, or it's the guy with the car that wants a $10,000 paint job. Like I just send him everybody constantly,
It feels good.
and then it just feels good. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then also as a bonus, I get all my shit for cost now.
Yeah.
So
It's beautiful. There's like a camera, a one man shop camera shop that repairs cameras out here. His name's Morris. AZ Camera Works, and I've sent tens of people his way to get there because he's like, "Do you know where I can get my sensor cleaned?" And I'm like, "I know a guy." He like puts
yep.
down his little like magnifying thing, and he's got the light and all the tinker tools. It's pretty cool. Very unorganized, but he's the man.
That's like Aaron Burgundy. He's the one who like paints all the VXs and fixes them
Oh
and
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like same with him. I've sent dozens of people to Aaron Burgundy, and I get my shit for like cost with him too.
He
So
could paint some of these dinosaurs.
he could. You got quite the lineup back there. You got all three iterations.
No, just all 2100s.
You are such a weird 2100
I
guy.
know, dude. I just missed the boat on the 1000, and then whatever. I
The
kept staying with it.
2100 is acceptable.
Yeah,
You just need to fucking figure out your fisheye game
yeah.
and get a
Well,
goddamn
you
MK1.
prefer you prefer it when you can see the vignette. I like it when you can't see the vignette, but it's still wide.
It's wrong. You're wrong.
It's art, dude. All right.
No,
Technically,
you're
it
wrong.
is wrong. I like Tony Malouf's fisheye game. His is pretty spot on with the VX.
He
But
has the
after this
softest-
video, dude, no more standard definition tape stuff. I'm considering buying a tapeless converter. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
There's a dude that's talking to me on Instagram right now where it would go onto a CF card and then you can just drag and drop the files. And I'm just like, that would make the rest of this video process so much smoother. And
It
it's
is.
like $450 though, which is like more than I paid for the cameras. It's like, I don't know if I want to do that.
It's been around for a long time too. And then like the last year, it was when the tapes, when they announced
Yeah,
they
exactly.
were gonna quit making tapes,
Yeah.
everybody just like hopped on it.
Yep.
But I knew a kid who had that shit like fucking like 6-7 years ago, and I was like, fuck that. Like I like the process of having to upload the tape and watch it back
I used to like that process until you have
until you're
this
too
much
busy.
tapes. Until you have this much tapes. It's just so much, dude.
Yeah.
There's like 3 tapes I need to get caught up on with mediocre footage.
I like getting an entire glass of tequila like I have right now, and I feel like Alex Jones, and then just fucking sitting here drinking it, watching it back, and like, you're such a pussy, Julian. But I'm glad you landed that.
For
You
real.
know?
Those were the days like on a Sabrosa trip. I would drink a bottle of wine while we're capturing the footage from the day, and some of the boys would be around me watching it, and they'd watch me edit, and those are some of the best memories that I can barely remember. I love it. Everybody asks me like, "How was your 20s?" I'm like, I don't know. I can't remember.
Should we? Hey, real quick. I know we gotta fuck off, but you think we should tell the story
Of when
about
you
me and
came to
Travis?
town? No.
We're like 2.5 hours in. Nobody will hear it.
Nope. I thought about that before. I was like, we're not talking about that. We can
All
give
right,
like
fair
a
enough.
PG-13 version. You and some boys, Travis and Jacob, I forget. They came. I was house sitting for my old boss. You guys came out. We wound up with Sauce passed out in front of the neighbor's house, and the neighbor called my boss and was like, "Hey, there's a random kid sleeping on my porch." And that's it. That's the whole
There's
story.
a lot of things that happened in between that.
Yeah, no
That's the
kidding.
part we
And
can't mention.
for
But
legal reasons,
yeah,
and for
no, I
my
think
current
the statute of
employment
limitations-
reasons, I can't.
statute of limitations is gone. Fuck it.
How long ago was that? 5 years, 6 years? That was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
We
But-
done changed since then, brother.
Yeah.
Are you? I remember us talking about losing weight. One last thing. Are you dropping lbs or no?
Dude, I've been
look aight.
trying.
You look
I've been-
mediocre at best, my guy.
I've managed to stay the same, but I can't lose. And I've lost weight before. I remember when I was like maybe like 15 or something, I lost like fucking 60 pounds.
Yeah, I remember.
And I
Skinny sauce.
I did it really easy back then, and I just fucking cannot do it. And it's not for lack of knowledge. I know what I'm doing, but I have like a kind of like a mental block, or I don't know. I keep like self-sabotaging
Yep.
myself.
I do that too.
So now one of the benefits of doing the real estate thing is something I've always wanted to do, which is go to a like psychologist, not because I think I'm crazy, but just because I want to improve upon what I've
Therapist.
make my brain stronger, you know, and like already like improve upon what I already have. So I've actually been seeing this psychologist the past, like just started doing it like maybe 6 weeks ago. Because it got to the point where I was like, dude, I've tried everything and I keep just fucking myself. So like I need to figure out why I'm fucking myself and get to the bottom of it. Cause yeah, I mean it's not lack of knowledge of how to do it. I can't stop fucking myself. So I've been talking to that dude and trying to figure out why it is I keep fucking myself.
Yeah.
And we've kind of gotten somewhere with it for sure. So
Do you want to share?
no.
Yeah.
But I'm an open book, but
Yeah.
not
You don't have to talk about your therapy
this part's a
breakthroughs.
little
Yeah.
this part's a little bit personal, so
Yeah.
I'll keep that to myself. But yeah, we kind of gotten to the bottom of why that might be, and I think now knowing that I can more easily go forward. And without doing the real estate thing, if I was a broke BMX guy, it would be very hard to pay for his services.
Yeah, 100%.
So
Good for you, man.
it's really nice to be able to pay for that, and it's helped a lot. So I would suggest anybody, even if you think you don't. Basically, I came to the realization that I'm addicted to food. So
Oh yeah. Well, that's
and,
super easy to get addicted to. Sugar's a drug.
and you have to treat it as such.
Yep.
So, and it was not something I didn't know. I kind of already knew that, but I almost like needed him to tell me.
Yeah.
To like believe it.
Bro, I have to go hardcore if I'm gonna do it. Like I have to be like, nope, no carbs at all, and then I do pretty good. Otherwise, I'm just like, because once you start, it's hard to stop. Like bread, you know. I feel guilty nowadays, like even just putting a tortilla for my breakfast burrito that I make at home in the morning. It's like I could go without this, but it's a nice little treat.
Yeah.
And then pasta just makes me hungrier after I eat it. It's wild how it works.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's wrap it up. I gotta go to bed.
If you got the money and you got a problem, talk to somebody who knows how to fucking read brains.
You heard it here first. Go to therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. You. Yeah, you watching this.
But all right. Sounds
just gonna
good.
End the recording. Well, no. Yeah. I'll probably film an outro separately. Thank you for watching Kanode Knows Season 2, Episode 2, Sauce the Boss, aka Austin Quick. Thank you for being on the show. And yeah, I hope whoever's listening and watching enjoys, you know. I forget what we talked about already. So that was fun. Time flew by. We started at when? 7:20, 7:30? 2.5 hours, boom.
I'm doing this for selfish reasons. I like to have a podcast to go back on and be like, oh, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. It's a time capsule. I
at
cringe going back and watching the old season.
Yeah. So I like that. But are we done recording?
Yes.
Actually?
No, still rolling.
Just get rid of that.
Okay, we'll stop the recording. Thanks, guys. Bye.